body here, like our staff know his body. We know him as a boy as well, with the staff inside, so it was important that he stayed here. You know, where are we now? We're in, you know, the second week in Feb, so you know there's not a lot of the season to go, but the most important thing is that Elliot stays fit now and then can get rhythm back in his football, because I think he's a player that does better with rhythm. Most players are, you know, like when you're playing and you get a rhythm, and we know the technical ability he can bring to the group, that's for sure.
Have you had a sense of where he is mentally, because he's had some wretched luck over the last few years?
Yeah, he's in a good place right now, and I think that's it. That's what I'm probably explaining, that we want to keep him in a good place, and that means keeping him here with the staff that know him and the medical staff and we know the sports psychologists, sports science staff who know him. I think that's really important to help him make sure that he stays fit now and can go on a run, because
I've just lifted you up billions of times.
Why?
Yes.
She loves Scary.
She's annoying. She doesn't want to go on my bed. Oh, you do so you can sleep in your bed. Last time when I slept in the house, of course it was.
What? Is that? Is that alright? You want to sit under here?
I'm just get scared.
In just under 20 minutes time.
What? Upstairs? You okay? No, not yet. Come here, Randa. It's under. Yeah.
He gets around the pitch so well, so wonderful to listen to his voice, and I'm sure
No. You use plastic. Give me a kiss. Give me a kiss.
Can Joe carry the snail for you?
No kiss.
Should Sammy the wheel? Yeah. Sammy the wheel? Yeah. Hey. What is this? Is this a caterpillar? No. Yeah. What? Do you not like caterpillar? Yeah. Oh, do you want to go on the drawing game? Yeah. What? Fish? Yeah.
Shut up. Not bad, you alright?
Fish? Fish.
Just Nick Barnes gives a mention on BBC Radio Newcastle because I was telling him the commentary sounded like he was underwater. And I heard him say, "Well, hopefully it's all sorted now, Stuart." I went, "Yeah, it is." So there we go.
Sure you've got someone watching.
Oh God, is he back? Is he? It's been so wonderful the last few weeks without Jacob, isn't he? When he keeps going to get married.
Is it Uncle Stu? Yeah.
I'm not bad. Yourself? How do you do?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Is that how the snail?
Go and then. Oh, darling. Good girl.
What should we make him out of? Should we make him out of pasta?
Alright, do you want to go to bed?
I said 4 out.
Want to go upstairs?
Should we make him out of beans?
No?
Is that beans?
No, you can have ice cream tonight.
Gareth nails the beans.
Want some beans?
Yeah.
Are you still hungry, son?
Yes, right.
Your toilet?
There's some football.
Beans. How's that
You
mate?
offended me.
Do the verbs on, push that table further closer so you can get to the cat list.
I'm making use of this lot of Zara. This one.
Yeah, no, stand on that. Sorry, the sofa.
How do I move it closer? Sandra. Sandra. What do I do? What do I do, Mummy? Mummy.
Push the sofa closer to the cat litter. So stand on this side.
Yeah.
Push it.
Why?
So he can't get down next to it.
Yeah, everything's absolutely spot on, mate.
Good lad. Sit.
Kenny, what you do, Joe? Sammy the wheel. Sammy the wheel. No, she's watching YouTube. Do you want Kitten to put on Sammy the wheel? Yeah. Kitten, you have to put on Sammy the wheel.
Hot. The wheel.
Kitten. Oh,
Sorry, no, let's touch that.
I want Sammy the wheel. No, she's watching YouTube.
Right, put this in.
Bo. Ollie, look, Ollie, watch this, watch this. Nana. Bo.
Your toilet.
Good afternoon.
No, don't come upstairs, please.
No, Zara, stay down here. No. Zara, stay down here. We'll draw Sammy the wheel, yeah? Sammy the wheel. Maybe don't. I'm coming.
I'd like to get forward.
Just want to say a quick good afternoon to everybody and hope you all well. I've got a lot of children in the house today, so I'll be putting it on mute very soon. And also so you can hear the match, like I always do. Thanks everybody for popping in.
Right hand side.
If you can't hear me, it's because I put it on mute.
Yeah, for sure. I will work as hard
Just
as
hear
I
the
can
game
and probably
uninterrupted.
stay in the team. Obviously, we've got a great
So thanks
team
for
as well,
joining us
so
and
it'll
hope
be
you enjoy the
tough
game
competition
today.
for the places, but I'm ready for what my job is, and hopefully we can get the work done.
Was it fairly simple to slot in one sense? Because I think the coaches are always keen to say clarity is the word they look for.
Yeah, of course, the coaching staff and the players has been really, really great with me. Settled in quite quickly. So obviously it's a young dressing room, so it's quite easy for me. But now the clarity has been very good. The gaffers really trusted me as well, and thought like we put in the work on the training pitch as well. So yeah, I'm pleased with that.
You've come across a lot of characters in the game, even being quite a relatively young player. What's Luke O'Neill like to play alongside?
Yeah, no, I love him. Very vocal, helps me out. When I need a couple of words. So now I sit with him in the dressing room as well. So we talk every day. Yeah. So no, it's been great so far, and hopefully I don't get on his bad side for sure.
It'd be interesting if you do.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Total Sport North East.
Live from the Stadium of Light.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Leo Kjelder, fair to say that particular deal I don't think was one that they had planned to make at the beginning of the window, but because of the injury to Huggins and so on, it became a priority to get a left back in, and it happened actually very, very quickly. He was telling us after the game last week it all happened, in the space of a day or two. And all the more, all the credit to him for arriving as suddenly as he did and slotting in like he did.
Yeah, he did. He fitted in quite well, and you look at him, and he has got potential. He's a player who can play in several positions, and I think he's a good acquisition to Sunderland squad.
And it's a good opportunity this afternoon to see what progress had been made. We listened to the programme Total Sport last night and talking about how, several callers came on. Davey was one of them, who was saying how they've gone narrower now. They are playing more through the middle. They're trying to get the ball in the box more. We're seeing a development to this team now from Michael Beale. Up against a team, I think, today, Plymouth Argyle, I don't think they'll necessarily sit in. I think they'll have a go. So it could be quite an open game.
Yeah, I think what Plymouth will try to do is catch Sunderland on the counter-attack, and we've got to be wary of that because they have got one or two players with a little bit of pace. Yes, we'll dominate the game like we did down there, because you got to think that we had, what was it, 20 odd shots? They had 2 on target and scored.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about, putting the ball in the back of the net.
I mean, looking at the Plymouth's record going up until the beginning of January, they're drawing a lot of games. They lost at Plymouth 2-1, and I think that's probably understandable. Drew with Plymouth 3-3, drew at Cardiff 2-2, drew at home to Watford 3-3, so they got goals in them. Then they tightened things up a little bit under Ian Foster. They beat Sutton United 3-1 in the Cup. A 1-1 draw at Huddersfield. They beat Cardiff 3-1 at home. Drew with Leeds 1-1 at Ellen Road. Then they got their first away win last week, and I think it's significant on 2 fronts. A, it was their first away win, but B, it was a clean sheet for the first time under Ian Foster.
Yes, indeed, and you can see the work he's doing there as well. And people look at this game and thinking, he's talking to Chris Tabuki, and the odds on Sunderland to win that game, it surprised me. What is it, 1-2 to win?
But clear favourites, weren't they?
Clear favourites, and I don't think it's going to be that easy. We'll have to work hard for it. We've got to earn the right to win this game.
May well be the case. Just a reminder of the teams before we hear from Michael Beale again. Sunderland, Patterson in goal, back 4 of Hume, Ballard, O'Nien and Hjelde, Neil, Ekwa, Roberts, Barr, Clark and Rusin, and Plymouth Argyle is Hazard, Phillips, Gibson and Galloway as a back 3, Mumba, Giabi, Forshaw and Miller, Whittaker, Devine and Hardy. The Sunderland bench is Bishop, Pembele, Job, Hamir, Burstow, Mundle, Ashish, Sealt and Rigg. And the Plymouth Argyle bench is Burton, Souza, Pleguizelo, the Spanish centre-back, Scar, Wayne, the New Zealand forward, Edwards, Randall, Sorinolo, and 17-year-old Freddie Hasaka, who's a forward. He's actually from Cornwall, signed from Truro City a couple of seasons ago. He is on the bench. They only named 6 players on the bench the other night against Leeds in that FA Cup replay because of the players that were cup-tied, because of the signings they've made in January after the arrival of Ian Foster, who's the replacement for Stephen Schumacher. The mist, I think, the sea threat is sort of lifting as we wait for the 2 teams to appear. The flag bearers on the pitch just standing, waving their flags, awaiting the team's arrivals. And Sunderland, I mean, they're 8th as it stands at the moment. I think they could push into the top 6, but it depends on other results.
Yeah,
today.
I think if we can put a run together, that's what we're looking at. I think it was a good point against Middlesbrough last week. Now what we've got to do is build on that. We've got Huddersfield coming up, which is, for me, a winnable game, and then we've got Birmingham City. So you look at the next 3 games, Nick, and I think nothing less than, I might put my head on the block here, nothing less than 7 points.
Well, you can arguably put your head on the block and say Swansea as well in that little run. I mean, it's a very benign, on paper, looking run for them.
Yeah, especially if we want to get into that top 6, we've got to be thinking of winning, especially starting today against Plymouth. You've got to go to Huddersfield. It's not going to be an easy game.
Right, before kick-off, let's hear again the head coach Michael Beale. Spoke with him on Thursday lunchtime.
Watching Rusin when he came on at Borough, he's a little terrier, isn't he? I mean, and he scored again. Is he at the moment uppermost in your if you've got your three, is he number one at the moment of the three that's likely to feature?
In the front three, he is right in my thoughts to play across the front three. As I say, I think he's a bit of a hybrid. He's not just a number 9. It would be unfair of me to say that Naz is just a number 9, because he likes to pull wide, he likes to dribble, his movement down the side, his energy is really good. And his next 3 games, you're certainly going to be seeing Rusin playing now.
Plymouth, I'm sure you were elated when you watched it go to extra time on Tuesday, Wednesday night, and the pouring rain and the weather and the fact they've got a long journey.
Yeah, I think so. But look, new manager's gone in. I think they've done really well. They're a dangerous team. They score a lot of goals, certainly at home. I thought over the 2 games with Leeds, if you look at the 2 90 minutes, they obviously did well against Leeds over that. And for whatever reason, the game slipped away from them late on. I think it'll be a tough challenge. I think we're at that stage of the season now where everyone's playing for something. Championship's one of those leagues where you get caught in either one end of the table or the other. So there's always a reason. And I think we're going to have to be at our best again, and certainly if Plymouth come and come after us, there'll be more space, but we're mindful that they might not do that. They might come and sit in. That will give us different problems, because I think their front three are, and I know a couple of their front three really well. I know that they're dangerous as well if we leave spaces, so it's another really good game.
Are you very mindful of this issue about teams sitting in, because it has been a problem for Sunderland, not just this season, last season, that Sunderland do find it very difficult at home to break some teams down, and you know, all credit to them, they come, I suppose, to show you respect, to try and take a point from games, but it's become, you know, something that I think everybody's tried to find a way of finding a way through, if you like.
I think the best teams in the world that spend millions and millions find that difficult. It's the hardest thing when a team put 10 players close to their goal, if you like, or 8 or 9 players back. It's hard to always get through. What we've shown as a team, that we can go over, around and through teams, and certainly against Stoke when we had bigger space, you could see how dangerous we were, and it's important when the other team attack that we can take it off them and launch our counter-attacks quickly as well. But if we solve that, there ain't a lot more for us to solve, is there? Because that's the one thing that all good teams face. If you're a possession team, you're going to face teams that are sat in. But I think we have the right type of players in the building, with Paddy back and Abdullah's in good form, and Pat and Romain in wide areas. We have people that can outplay 1v1. There's certainly been a focus on us crossing the ball more. Now we need to make sure we're getting people in there, because I suppose my big frustration, and the team's big frustration in the changing room at the weekend, was we got into really good areas against Middlesbrough, and from those areas, did we have enough making the box, or did we have enough actually just looking to get where you score goals, which is inside the 6-yard box? Because there was a couple of moments where balls get flashed across and we should score in those moments. So that's something that we're working on, but as I say, the best teams in the world also find that difficult, so it's not a problem just for Sunderland. Do you get a sense now with the squad that you've got, and I know you said it's a tight squad, that you've got a bench that you can change the game if needs be? Because it's always been an accusation, if you like, thrown at coaches that you've got no plan B, but do you think now with the players that you've got on the bench, you have got a plan B? That's a new accusation that's thrown at me. You just thrown one at me there, Nick. No, listen, I think that the bench has to bring variety to the team on the pitch, doesn't it? And sometimes there's a balance between trusting your players that you picked in the starting lineup. Certainly if you're a forward player, you know, if you're a forward player and you're always thinking after 60 minutes he's going to take me off, yes, you have to play well to stay on, but there's an element of coach-player trust and relationship, and if you trust someone to play, that you have to get that balance right. But certainly from your bench you need variation, and I think we're getting to the stage now, which I've not had for too many of the games, where there's more variation, with Romain coming in, Paddy getting fit again, Mason's now scored, Adil's got an assist, Semedo's scored, so they're telling me in the B team game, come on, play me, you know, I'm here. Riggy being around the group, and certainly now we feel like we've got more to offer. Callum will come back into it next week as well. That's a real positive place. If you think of the performances Jensen's put in, he was probably hard done by last week, but I thought Leo come in and played particularly well, so hopefully that's a real positive sign for the group and the team in the coming weeks. Last one from me. I mean, you mentioned Jensen there. He can probably feel a little bit hard done by, because he has been, you know, he did play very well against Stoke, then he's out of the team, but I guess that's the dilemma you're always going to have when you've got
fit players, someone's going to have to miss out.
I think balance is really important to any team. Certainly, you posed me the challenge or the question there that what teams sit in, well then balance is really important, that you can go round and hit crosses. I thought he helped us and he played very well for a number of games, but it's fair to say Trey is a better right back, only by 10%, but he's certainly a better right back than left back in my opinion. And there's going to be a couple of suspensions in the post, I think, with centre backs, and it's important that Jensen will get an opportunity in there and show us what he can do. I've been delighted with him, to be honest, and I was delighted with Leo last week, so that's a good place for us to be in.
Total Sport North East.
Nick Barnes and Gary Bennett MBE.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Well, it looks like Plymouth might have done their homework. They've clearly won the toss, and they're making Sunderland attack the north end in the first half here this afternoon. Anthony Patterson in his bright yellow heads down to the Roker end, and Connor Hazard in light blue is up at the north end of the stadium. Plymouth will defend then the north end, and Sunderland will kick off this afternoon with referee Anthony Backhouse, the Cumbrian who was here last for the 3-1 win over Norwich City, and Barr is playing as number 10, pushes the ball back to Equa to get the game underway. Live here on BBC Radio Newcastle, and fingers crossed we'll have no further technical issues as O'Nien just plays the ball across the back of the penalty area to Ballard, and then out wide to Hume, forwards on that right hand side to Roberts, who's dropped deep, and a ricochet takes the ball back inside in favour of Plymouth Argyle, and the loanee Giabi from Leeds played the ball eventually out wide on the left hand side, and it's Mikael Miller who swings in a cross here. Mumba is looking to get on the end of it and heads it wide off the shoulder of Fjelde, but that all came down to a Sunderland mistake.
Well, we weren't alive, were we? You know, we were still asleep.
So Sunderland mindful of that, the high press as well from Plymouth, keeping Morgan Whittaker and Alfie Devine on Ryan Hardy up pushed forwards. There's a Sunderland break. Clark, he's just...
He knew he was offside, didn't he?
Flag up on the far side, frustration from Clark as he went to sprint away on the left wing, and a free kick to Plymouth Argyle in green and white socks, as the ball back at the feet of Connor Hazard, the former Celtic keeper, signed in the summer. 7 caps for Northern Ireland, as he rolls out the ball in front of him on this right wing, deep in the Plymouth half. Players in close proximity on this near side, around halfway, and Hazard with the kick down the right wing. It floats over Ryan Hardy's head and is headed back by O'Nien to Patterson, who comes out and rolls it to Equa. They are pressing immediately, Plymouth, to try and get Sunderland under pressure, and playing it long up to Rusin. O'Nien, it's headed away by Lewis Gibson, who was born in Durham, played at Newcastle in his early years. Neil in the centre circle, leaves it for Roberts. Roberts out to Hume, wide inside the Plymouth half, just inside the Plymouth half, back onto halfway, down Neil and back again to Ballard. And Ballard looking to try and get it down the right wing through Neil to Patrick Roberts, and he slips it through to Equa, closed down straight away by Adam Forshaw. It breaks in the centre, it's picked up by Dan Neil, who swings it across to Hjelde on the left hand side. He takes this on halfway inside the Plymouth half, short pass through looking for Barr, he's tackled. Plymouth come away with it again on this right hand side, and it was Whittaker trying to get it forwards. Clark's won it back from O'Nien eventually, and then to Ballard, and then out to Hume again. We're in the 4th minute here at the Stadium of Light. Later on this afternoon, the ball back with Patterson. Later on this afternoon, of course, full commentary from the City Ground, 5:30. Nottingham Forest against Newcastle United. Here's Neil, bring the ball out up to halfway. Barr out on the left here with Clark, being chased by Barley Mumba. He slips it through to Clark on the left edge of the penalty area, into the box, slides it through into the 6-yard area, right in front of the keeper. And a last-ditch challenge sends it over the bar and behind by Gibson for a corner to Sunderland.
Yeah, good build-up play, good position by Barr, just picking the ball up just in that hole there, being able to release Clark and quite catching Balamumba out of position really, especially when he's pushing forward.
So Clark and Roberts down in this left corner, short corner to Patrick Roberts, taking on Mumba, comes back to Clark, swings across in here, headed clear. Ekwa's going to pick this up in the middle of the Plymouth half, plays it back now to Luke O'Nien. We're in the 5th minute of the game. Ekwa swings this down the left wing. Clark just controlling it, keeping it in. No, it's gone out. Flags up from the assistant. No, I've missed what the applause is in the 5th minute. I know they were looking for applause for John Snape from the Colliery Tavern in the 79th. That Michael Beale joins in the applause down at the back of the technical area. So the rings around the stadium. Throw then on this right-hand side, taken by Phillips, Ashley Phillips, the 18-year-old on loan from Tottenham Hotspur. And out it goes again for another Plymouth Argyle throw. Ashley Phillips comes forwards again to take this for the visitors. Down the line it goes, flicked on by Hardy, and it's going to bounce for Ekwa to keep in. Gelder looking for it, it's dropped for O'Nien. He picks it out of the little ruck and plays it back in the middle to Dan Ballard. And Ballard now across on the far side to Hume, who's lifted a ball down the right wing. Gibson chasing back, Rusin on his shoulder. Gibson has to turn it out into touch on the right hand side. Good pressure from Nazari Rusin.
Yeah, and then with the runs which he makes, puts the defender under pressure.
Back it comes to Hume. Hume back to O'Nien in the centre circle. Ekwa out to Gelder on the left hand side, inside again to Ekwa. A short pass forwards to Barr, cut out in the middle by Garby, and then back to Gibson and back to the goalkeeper. Fulham 1, Bournemouth 0 in the Premier League. The ball cleared into the Sunderland half. The applause was for Michael Beale's niece. If you may have seen this on social media, is battling against cancer. She's only 4 years old. And so one understands why Michael Beale was so vigorous in his applause as well. So that clears that up. As now a lovely ball from Dan Neal for Clark to chase. Gibson comes back and again has to slide in and smash the ball into touch.
Good tackle, good ball by Dan Neal out to Clark. But again, it seems as though we can get behind where Balimumba come from, especially when he wants to push forward. Clark's an outlet.
Another throw which eventually leads to the ball coming back into the Sunderland half from down the right wing, looking for Rusin again at the edge of the penalty, battling with Gibson, shoulder to shoulder. Rusin's got his foot on the ball, Gibson won't let go of him. Rusin finally digs it out for Hume's cross, but it's dropped to Balimumba under pressure from Clark. He manages to come away on the right hand side and Clark nudges him over.
Good play by Balimumba.
Blackburn 1, Stoke 0. 0-0 here in the 8th minute at the Stadium of Light, live on BBC Radio Newcastle. And Ashley Phillips plays the ball back to Connor Hazard. The keeper swings it out wide to the left to Mikel Miller. And he just plays it back inside to Giarbi. Back then to Galloway, who since he was at Sunderland has become a Zimbabwean international. He's got 2 caps. He did in his younger years play as an England under-19. It's back with Connor Hazard. He kicks out down the left wing again, headed away by Hume from Miller, and it's picked up in midfield by Adam Forshaw. Forshaw under pressure from Rusin, has to play it back to the goalkeeper again, and again swings his left foot through it up towards Ryan Hardy, but O'Nien's there. Forwards he heads it, Giarbi heads it back, and now it's picked up by Equa. But it's a player down, free kick.
Yeah,
it's a Plymouth player down.
Yeah, Barr's foot was a bit high.
Barr caught him. Referees.
Have they given him a yellow card?
I think he might be. He's going to pull out a yellow card. He's going to book Barr. Ushers him out. A yellow card for Barr in the 10th minute. Anthony Backhouse not endearing himself to the locals. A 6th yellow card this season for Barr. It was Galloway he caught. 0-0. Ian Foster's having a conversation with Ashley Phillips standing on the touchline here, and that instruction is passed on to Barley Mumba and then on to Morgan Whittaker. Why didn't he just go to Whittaker in the first place? Lewis Gibson.
That's too straightforward, Nicholas.
It is obviously too straightforward. Gibson with a free kick, back to Hazard, and Hazard kicks again, but to the right this time, on to the head of Hjelde, who's headed it out for a throw to Plymouth, who are at home on Wednesday night to Coventry City in that round of Championship games, Tuesday, Wednesday night. We will be at Huddersfield Town. We'll have full commentary on BBC Radio Newcastle as the ball comes through to Mumba here on the right-hand side, just short of the halfway line. Played across the middle to Alfie Devine, and he plays it wide, the youngster, the 19-year-old on loan from Spurs, to Miller, who smashes the ball into the side netting from almost on the touchline on the left in the 11th minute. Another sea fret floats across the pitch, and Patterson has Ballard and O'Nien either side of him on the edges of the corners of the 6-yard box.
And the pressing high,
again, two up, Ryan Hardy and
high.
Morgan Whittaker at the edge of the penalty area. So it's kicked long. Rusin chases, Galloway hooks it into the east stand.
But again, that's a great outlet for us, isn't it? Really, you know, we're not going to win many balls in the air, but if Patterson can kick that ball into space, and especially if they're pressing high.
Here's Dan Neal, plays it back onto the halfway line to Luke O'Nien, wide to Hjelde on halfway, back to O'Nien, through the middle to Neal, in the centre circle, short pass to his right to Ballard, and Ballard to Roberts, inside to Hume. Hume survives a challenge, gets it to Neal, quick ball to Roberts, Roberts plays it back onto halfway to Hjelde on this left-hand side, and then to Clark on the touchline. Watford 0, Leicester 1. It's come off the referee. He's letting play go on in favour of Sunderland. I mean, technically it's meant to be a drop ball, isn't it?
But he should give himself a yellow
card.
But
I think he's
a blue card. A blue card.
He's wearing blue, actually, Anthony Blackhouse.
That's where they come in handy, them blue cards.
Common sense dictated that there, because Sunderland were in possession, they retained possession, and he's let the game flow. Here's Hjelde back inside to Equa to Neal. It's all very close. Plymouth closed down very quickly, and it's with Adam Forshaw, plays it into Giarbi again, and across on the left-hand side to Miller. And Miller trying to find Hardy, and he's into the penalty area. The flag stayed down. Patterson has to save, and then a block by Luke O'Nien, and Hjelde has to clear this. Well, the flag stayed down. It was an opportunity for Plymouth. Patterson had to keep his wits about him. He made the save, and now it's back with Devine. Little chip over the top, just a stretch for Hardy. Too much. It's
Delino never kept up in play there. He's way short. He's got to keep up with play, Delino. He was well short.
Well, it's 0-0. That's the first, technically the first chance of the game. So, again, two players stand at the edge of the penalty area from Plymouth, and it's kicked long by Patterson over Rusin and Forshaw. Forshaw or Gibson looked at the referee for a foul, wasn't going to get anything. It's come back 0-0. to Phillips. That's technically the first chance of the game. Penalty area through to Darko Giarbi, signed by two Leeds in players stand at the edge of the penalty area from Plymouth, clearly a player of promise.
And it's kicked
Played
long
to Whittaker, out to Mumba. Ali Mumba back inside to
Over
Morgan
Whittaker.
Whittaker.
And
His
Forshaw.
foot from Dan Neal, but it's run through
Gibson
to Mumba
looked
on the
at
right
referee
side
for
of the
a foul,
penalty
wasn't
area.
gonna get anything.
Pulled back here then to
0-0.
Forshaw to cross.
Too deep.
Technically the first chance
Miller
of the game.
will chase
Penalty
it.
area through to one by Roberts.
Marcus
Tackled by
Signed
Roberts.
by
Eventually from Hume to
Leeds
Ekman.
players
Looking to
stand
get
at the edge of
Roberts
the
away on the
penalty
right.
area.
He's tackled
Clearly
by
a player of
Diaby.
promise. It's kicked
By
long.
to Whittaker, out to Mumba. Ali Mumba back inside to Morgan Whittaker. And Leeds 1, Rotherham 0. 0-0 here at the Stadium Light. 15th minute of the game. Here's Giabi again. And at Hull 0, Swansea 1. Giabi seeing quite a lot of the ball. The 19-year-old, very young Plymouth side under Ian Foster. And back to Lewis Gibson. His older brother Liam plays at Harrogate Town. He was signed from Everton in the summer. The former Newcastle centre-half. And now here's Miller trying to cut inside. Away from Hume, still going, stumbled slightly, allowed O'Nien to clear, then Rusyn's fouled by Giabi.
Well done, Rusyn.
And it's a free kick in the Sunderland half, just behind the centre circle. So we're in the 16th minute, it's 0-0. And Plymouth certainly press, they close down quickly, don't they?
They do indeed. As I said, they're a young team. Got a bit of pace in the team as well, Nick.
Hjelde inside to Neal, skips round Hardy on the centre spot, almost plays it out to Trey Hume on the right wing, slips it through for Rusyn to chase, but Gibson's just managed to let it run through off his shoulder back to Connor Hazard. 6'6", the Northern Ireland international. Leans over and just pulls the ball up with one palm, drops it to his feet and clears. Rusyn up here to Alfie Devine, tackled by Ballard, fouled, says the referee. Ballard has to be careful, he's on those 9 yellow cards. I think they've almost resigned themselves to the fact that he and O'Nien at some point are going to get suspended. 37 games is the cut-off, we're in the 31st game of the season. Now with Giabi again. Swings it up through the middle, looking for Morgan Whittaker, headed away by O'Nien to Hjelde. Picked up by Dan Neal just ahead of him and squared to Clark on the left. The Mumba's on his shoulder. Clark peels into the centre, rolls it across to Hume. Hume now down the right side of midfield. Roberts out wide. Roberts picking up the ball, cutting inside now. Edge of the penalty area, tried to slip it through for Barr, but it's been knocked away by Plymouth. Devine drives it straight out to Ballard. And Ballard, urged to shoot from 40 yards, plays it to Clark, back to Hjelde. And Hjelde inside to Neal. Neal out to Clark. Middlesbrough 0, Bristol City 1. Clark carrying it into the centre, playing it across to Hume. And Hume down the right now to Roberts. Roberts has got Miller in front of him, plays it just a few yards behind him to Roberts, and then
yellow
Hume's
card.
been
That should be a yellow
by
card.
Miller.
Referee.
Spurs 0, Brighton 1. The referee's pulled Miller out. He's having a word with him. And it doesn't appear that he's going to show him a yellow card. He's got away with it. It's now Middlesbrough 0, Bristol City 2 at the Riverside here at the Stadium of Light in the 18th minute. Sunderland 0, Plymouth Argyle 0. Patterson one save from close range after a Plymouth break. But other than that, neither keeper has really had a great deal to do. But this is an opportunity, this free kick from the right-hand side, which Roberts will swing in, 10 yards in from the touchline, halfway inside the Plymouth half.
Good
Everyone
delivery.
lined up at the edge of the area. It's swung in
Oh,
and looking for Hume, but the keeper's there, plucks it down. And those two Bristol City goals came in the 16th and the 17th minutes. And I think Michael Carrick was talking about concentration after the game last week.
Was he?
Slightly ironic. As O'Nien heads the ball back from Hardy to Ballard. Ballard then inside to Luke O'Nien again. Forwards to Neal. back to O'Nien, then to Ballard. Ballard to Ekwa. Closed down by Giarbi, plays it back to O'Nien, out to Hjelde on the left wing. Looking for the run of Clark, but it's swung out. And it'll be a throw to Plymouth. 15th at the start of play this afternoon. They've taken a bit of a gamble this season. They spent a bit of money. The biggest signing from their perspective was Morgan Whittaker. They paid Swansea $1 million plus add-ons for Whittaker, which has paid off for them because he scored 17 goals this season, 16 of them in the Championship. Here's Neil in the middle, in the Plymouth half, plays it out to Hjelde on the left. He swings in his cross, headed away though by Galloway.
Good ball.
Hume will keep it in on the far side, playing it back to Ekwa. And Ekwa now to Neil. Blackburn 2, Stoke 0. Blackburn, who again more turmoil at Ewood Park this week with the departure of John Dahl Thomason. Now with Ekwa forwards to Roberts, sorry, trying to get it down to Hume. Rusin was just ahead of Roberts. It's come back to O'Nien, closed down by Whittaker, played across to Ballard, away from Devine quickly to Ekwa now on the halfway line on the right hand side. He finds Barr just inside him now, trying to find a way through Plymouth's midfield across to Hjelde. He's passed it out. Hjelde, don't know, bounced up off his left foot, throw to Plymouth. Ashley Phillips will take this. I think he was born in Curzon Ashton. He had 4 or 5 years at Blackburn Rovers before Spurs signed him in the summer. Clearly a player of a lot of promise. 18, 6'4", takes the throw. Hjelde heads it forwards, looking for Rusin, who heads it down to the path of Barr, looking for Roberts, spins up off his foot, headed away by Galloway to Miller, who's on problems here with Roberts. He's skipped round him. Roberts pulls it back straight into the chest of Lewis Gibson on the corner of the 6-yard box to block it and clear, and then up to Dan Ballard, who finds Hume. Ball goes out, throw to Plymouth, just back inside their own half, and you get a sense at the minute Sunderland labouring to try and find a way through.
Yes, they knew that it's going to be difficult, but also what Sunderland have got to be aware of is the counter-attack, especially when they've got the likes of Whittaker and Hardy.
Throw down the left wing, Ballard heads it on, Ekwa tries to head it on as well, but Adam Forshaw is there, turns it just inside, and it's played back by Whittaker to Giarbi, and now back again to Phillips, and right back to goalkeeper Connor Hazard. We're almost halfway through the first half and it's goalless. Mumba comes off Hjelde as he tried to play it down the line for a throw, and a word in the ear of Mumba from Ian Foster. Mumba will take the throw. In fact, he leaves it for Phillips. Phillips, fourth official's having a word in his ear. Phillips takes the throw, drops it to the feet of Whittaker, now tries to flick it past Clark. He gets it actually. The ball dropped down back to Whittaker and he swung it over to Miller on the left corner of the Sunderland penalty area. He wheels into the centre, his shot is blocked, it's hooked away by Luke O'Nien up to the halfway line. Phillips heads it on, looking for Giarbi, drops over him, drops over Neil, bounces to Luke O'Nien, and O'Nien finds Clark down the left. Rusin's in the middle, Roberts is coming up on the right. Clark's taking this on into the penalty area, trying to pass it in to Rusin, but it was cut out. Comes out to Ekwa, and Ekwa now cutting across to the left hand side. Unselfish play from Clark, he knew what he was doing, but it was just too far ahead of Rusin, and eventually it's with Hume and Roberts again, and Roberts back to Dan Neil just inside of him, out to Hume, back to Roberts, back again Dan Neil, and back onto halfway to Ballard and O'Nien in the centre circle. O'Nien to Dan Neil just ahead of him. On the right, out to Roberts, and Roberts now taking on Devine. Roberts cutting in into the middle. Ekwa's got a bit of space, urged to shoot, he does, it's a poor shot. It's a foul though. That was the reason for the poor shot, because he pulled over A yellow card for, was it Whittaker who got that?
Is it Whittaker or Forshaw?
Or Forshaw, one of them. Between them, I've got a funny feeling it might have been Whittaker, but...
It is Whittaker, he's the one who pulled him back.
Yeah.
Good position.
24th minute, free kick. 23 yards out. Equa, Hjelde and Clark stand over the ball at the moment. Barr's in conversation with Mike Dodds here on the near touchline. Barr still turning as Mike Dodds has walked away from him, querying something, but Barr jogs back on to the pitch now.
You've got to work the goalkeeper. And
Plymouth are employing that tactic where one of the defenders lies down behind the wall. It's Morgan Whittaker.
It's called the draft excluder.
Well, they're employing it.
Yeah.
4 in the wall and a draft excluder. And Equa and Clark looking to cause a draft. It's blocked by the wall. It's come back to O'Nien, who pushes it on to Clark here. Clark onto his right, curls one at the goalkeeper. It's spilled. Ricochets off him. It's come out to Roberts on the right. He pulls it back here to Equa. Equa, edge of the area, tries a shot blocked by Lewis Gibson, I think it was, or Forshaw, and played out to Morgan Whittaker, who's tackled by O'Nien. It's pulled back here to Forshaw from the left, and Forshaw turns, twists, and gets it out to the left wing. And Devine, I think it is, he's bringing this forward for Plymouth Argyle. He's pushed away by Hume. Foul, says the referee. Free kick to Plymouth in the 26th minute. Halfway inside the Sunderland half on the left-hand side of midfield. Again, a sea threat hovers over the stadium. Lewis Gibson in the centre circle from the free kick to Brendan Galloway to his left, who looks for Hardy, headed away by O'Nien, poked on by Devine, but straight to Ballard. Ballard whips it away past the 19-year-old, goes out for a throw to Plymouth. Forshaw back onto the touchline, where Galloway plays it back to Gibson. Forwards to Forshaw, looking to try and find Miller. Couldn't keep it in.
Gone out.
Throw and offside. Combination of the two. Equa now plays it back to Ballard. Ballard to O'Nien. O'Nien in the middle to Ballard to his right. And forwards to Equa. Back again to O'Nien, into the middle, Dan Neal. He's up to the halfway line, lays it off to Hjelde to his left. Hjelde will play it back to Luke O'Nien. O'Nien drives it right through to Hume here, and he's found the gap, has he, for Rusin, but Gibson gets across the face of him again and plays it out onto the touchline, and it's swept out for a throw by Galloway. And you can see there that a good example of Sunderland playing it narrower through the middle to try and find their way into the penalty area. Here they are again doing the same. Equa now on the right side of central midfield, does play it out to Roberts. Roberts cutting inside again to Dan Neal. Neal in the middle of the Plymouth half, over to Hjelde on the left, and Hjelde back to Luke O'Nien just in front of the centre circle. Ballard down the right to Hume. Hume, just a couple of banks of green shirts in front of them. Equa drives one through the penalty area, and it'll go behind for a goal kick. So QPR 1, Norwich 0 in the Championship this afternoon. We're into the 29th minute here at the Stadium of Light. It's goalless.
Would you like to see a little bit more tempo?
Yes.
I think sometimes it's a little bit too slow for me.
I think picking up on something you said earlier about Mumba on this near side, Clark's got the running of him if they can get balls down that left-hand side and get behind him. That option seems to have dried up, doesn't it? They seem to be concentrating on the right-hand side more. Clark's cutting right in now into the centre. throw for Plymouth down the left, comes back to O'Nien, and up and under here. Rusin will go for it, gets his head on it, it drops back though to Lewis Gibson, and he pushes it out straight to Neil, and Neil will play it back behind him just a few yards. Hume inside to Equa, back again to Ballard, and Ballard, foot on the ball, short pass forwards to Dan Neil. This still in the Sunderland half. He's got Devine in front of him, plays it to Hume, closed down by Miller, comes back to Ballard, and Ballard brings it up through the centre again, just looking for options, and there just aren't many, are there? It's you know, Plymouth just crowding the midfield, they push out, there seems to be green shirts dotted all over, no gaps. Here it comes back again to Ballard, across to O'Nien, Whittaker goes to close him down, it's driven down the left, but way away from a frustrated Jack Clark, who threw his hands in the air then, back through to Connor Hazard.
He's done well, Jack Clark, but the service up to him was poor. He went straight through to the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
But like I said, that's where they can get in.
Hazard kick up to Whittaker. Heolder gets his head to it into the middle. Trey Hume away from Devine, but out. Radar slightly off there. Out for a throw to Plymouth. Drops to Giarbi from Miller, and Giarbi trying to find a way round Dan Neil. They go down together, and it's a free kick to Plymouth. Neil, the player, penalised. Cross comes. I think Miller to take the free kick. Was leaving it for Forshaw, leaving it for Forshaw now.
And this is where we've got to be switched on.
Yeah. It's 4 or 5 yards in. So the kick swung into the penalty area. It will drop for Hume, and now Clark to bring this out side. And on the far side, Barr in space, and it's Whittaker who's coming back to cover at left back. Barr cuts inside, rolls it through to Rusin, comes back to him at the edge of the area, he tries a shot, it's blocked, and now Plymouth trying to bring it out with Devine, and he's fouled by Equa. And so Luton 0, Sheffield United 1. We mentioned the 5th minute's applause for Michael Beale's niece. Well, there's been a response from the family, and Poppy's mum here, the niece, is called Poppy, Michael Beale's sister-in-law, who says, "We've just seen the response from all supporters at the game. We are so touched. Thank you all." It's very touching.
No,
free kick is awarded.
Poor decision.
For an alleged foul by Clark. Liverpool 1, Burnley 0. Thank you all. It's very touching to see you all behind us and behind Mike too. Lots of love from all the families. That's a lovely message from Michael Beale's
excellent
sister-in-law this afternoon, as the ball goes out for a throw to Sunderland on the right. It's stop-start at the moment. Here's Neil, and that comes back to Ballard in the mist. Plays it short forwards to Neil, and back to Luke O'Nien, across to Hjelde. Hjelde on the left, trying to float it over the top, but Clark can't get round Phillips. Cardiff 0, Preston 1. Clark's getting frustrated. He's starting to sort of holler at Hjelde now to get forwards. He's being sort of cut out of the game at the minute as Equa tries to get it to Barr. Now Barr's done well here. Phillips has pulled him back. That's got to be a yellow card. Phillips is going to be booked. There's no way he was going to get away with that not being a yellow card.
Great touch by Barr.
Oh, trying to scramble away. Phillips just tugged him back. So another free kick. You get the sense these free kicks could be quite important for Sunderland. This might be the way they're going to get. We've got to get their noses in front.
Yeah, we've got to make better use of them, Nick. You know, the last one hit the wall.
So this is 23-24 yards out, and Clark and Equa over the ball at the moment. Format. No, there's no draft excluder in this.
Not needed.
Not needed. It's Clark who's going to swing this in with his right, but it's well wide, and it swings behind into the north stand for a goal kick. Frustrating that Sunderland creeping towards half-time, and they're finding it difficult to find a way through this Plymouth team. Short tap from Phillips to the goalkeeper. He plays it out through the middle here to Gibson, and he plays it wide on the left to Miller. Mikel Miller. Inside then to Devine. Devine in front of Hume, looking for Miller. Has to sprint for this and down the left touchline, and he loses it.
But that's the difference between the press. You see how Plymouth press when we've got to play it out from the back, and how we press.
Yeah, I think there,
you know, it was too easy for.
It was, and I think Miller, the only
out.
reason went wrong is lung-busting run. He just ran out of steam and he just lost control, leading it for a throw. Wolves 0, Brentford 1. Rusin's on a break here. He's on the shoulder of Gibson down the right side of the penalty area, trying to cut in. The ball goes behind, and it's a corner.
Well done, Rusin.
First corner from the right-hand side. We had one earlier from the left-hand side.
You know, we talk about Rusin, but it just, shows you that a little bit of tempo, a little bit of pace, belief, be a little bit more direct. Where, you look at our build-up at times, and for me, sometimes it's too slow, innit?
Well, short corner again. Here's Roberts from Clark, swings the ball, will try to in, but Miller's blocked it. Roberts will try and keep it in here. Miller's behind him, but he gets it back to Hume, and this is a classic up and under, hangs in the air. Ballard, it comes off Ballard, he's penalised. He waves his hand away at the referee. Free kick at the edge of the penalty area, which the goalkeeper will take. And
so the game suits Plymouth.
Yeah, it does at the minute.
They'll be happy.
Do you know they'll be looking for a snatch, won't they? They'll be looking. I can sort of see, and the way the game's gone so far, why it finished 1-0 to Plymouth at Swansea last week. I can imagine the game followed the very same pattern. Here's Neil wide on the right inside the Plymouth half, but it's whipped off Equa by Forshaw. Comes back though to Luke O'Nien. O'Nien's trying to get through the middle now. Looks to try and get it to Rusin. Played it behind him, and Galloway could get in front of Rusin and clears it at the second attempt up to Hardy, but it comes to O'Nien from Equa through the referee's legs. Equa out to Gelder on this left-hand side, back inside to Barr, comes back to Equa, and Equa now trying to find Gelder, who's got forwards. Barr on the left, Clark wide. Barr takes this to the edge of the area, has to come back, finds Neil in the middle. Neil tries to find a way through the bank of green shirts. It comes out to Clark on the left. He swings a ball in, looking for Hume in the penalty area, gets his head on it, but Galloway is there to hook it away, and Hume trying to win it back on the shoulder of Miller, and he does. He almost fell over, but he's got it to Roberts, to Barr, back inside to Rusin, trying to swing his right foot at it, blocked. It's another corner.
Excellent play. But why was it so good? It played a little bit more tempo,
pace, a bit more urgency. Yeah, I agree with you totally. Fulham 2, Bournemouth 0. Roberts goes down to take this corner on the right. This looks like it'll be an in-swinger rather than the two previous which have been taken short to Clark. Clark is in the D. So Roberts in the 38th, nearly the 39th minute, swings this in. Gibson gets his head on it. Clark's trying to battle with Devine. Devine hooks it back over his head, and it's Ballard on the floor in the 6-yard box. Luton 0, Sheffield United 2. Here is Roberts down the right wing with O'Nien, and now Roberts again whipping in here, trying to get the ball into Barr, stabbed away, and Morgan Whittaker smashes it up to Hardy, who's on the halfway line when he got the ball. He goes round the keeper. He's now got to try and get past O'Nien, and he tries to dink it over, and he scores. Dinks it over Hume, and from the halfway line,
how can you
in
be
the
caught
39th
like that?
minute, Ryan Hardy breaks. Patterson came out to close him down, so did Hume, but Ryan Hardy's managed to dink it over both, and Plymouth Argyle take the lead.
It's a good finish by the lad, but that's schoolboy defending, Nick. Absolutely schoolboy defending.
Totally caught by the ball out. I think it was Galloway's ball out, and he was onside. He was on the halfway line, if not just behind it when the pass was made, and he just sprinted through the middle as Sunderland just gawped, basically.
Well, we've just touched on it, Nick. You know, we was talking about before, you know, frustrating Sunderland, and they'll catch you on the break.
Yeah.
You know, how can you be caught out like that? You've got to be aware of where he is, and somebody's got to pick him up. Your last man.
Well, that's a 11th championship goal of the season for,
you know, Hume's last man,
Ryan Hardy, and it seems a bit like going back 5 minutes to that conversation we just had about Swansea and what they probably did at Swansea City, and they've just done it to Sunderland. Sunderland have got to find a way back into this game now. We're in the 40th minute, and Plymouth Argyle lead 1-0. Ryan Hardy won't get many easier goals.
Well, but
nearly made
I tell you what,
it.
it wasn't an easy goal.
No,
to be fair, he was one-on-one. I tell you what, he kept his head.
Yeah, he ended up 1-on-2. Now he's trying to chip one from halfway, and it's just gone round the left post from the halfway line from Hardy. Southampton nil, Huddersfield 1.
That would have been an unbelievable goal.
That would have been an incredible goal, and you wouldn't have put it past him scoring it. Blackburn 3, Stoke 0. 41st minute. Sunderland 1 down, could have been 2, and Blackburn 3, Stoke 1. Now they press Patterson, he gets the ball out to Giarbi, he knocks it forward. Ekwa, Kjelder tries to get it forward, but straight to Forshaw, deflection, and the ball will be pulled back here by the referee.
It's a free kick to Plymouth.
For a free kick.
What you've got to show now, Nick, is some character.
Indeed, yes.
You know, it's so frustrating that you're being caught out like that. How can you? You've got to be switched on all the time.
Ball quickly played down to Miller on the goal line, pulls it back, headed away by Ballard. Up to Roberts, he's to try and get the ball away from Galloway. Cardiff 0, Preston 2. Galloway nods it down again. Roberts trying to win it, finds it for Neil, pushes it forward. Forshaw gets in front of Barr. Forshaw now, he just twisted and dummied and got away from Barr. He's played it through here to Hardy in the penalty area. He's offside. Flag up this time, but I know people will say he was offside for the goal. That, you know, I'm sure he wasn't. I'm sure that pass was made. He was on halfway. He took advantage.
But still, he still needs picking up. He had a free run, Nick.
He did. Ekwa to Barr as they try and come out here. Sunderland 1 down. Kjelder plays it back to O'Nien. O'Nien, the edge of his D. 43rd minute. Back to Ballard. Hardy closes him down. He kicks up towards Rusin, and he's pulled back. Was he? Rusin's on his feet still. He's got the advantage from the referee, who would have seen that as a foul. And now Roberts running and into the penalty area. It's pulled back by Neil, but Phillips hooks it away. Only as far as Miller on the far side, and he plays it up through the middle. Ballard lays it off to Kjelder, and Kjelder now to Jack Clark. Clark trying to turn Mumba, who seems to be pulling his shirt. Clark still goes. The referee kept an eye on it, and finally a free kick.
He's got to get a yellow card. But how many times does he want to have a go at him?
I can't see how he's got to get a yellow here.
Get a yellow card.
Yellow card for Barley Mumba. There's 3 fouls there, I think. In the 44th minute. Sunderland 0, Plymouth Argyle 1.
But he hasn't had enough of the ball, Jack Clark.
He hasn't, and he was getting frustrated by that earlier.
He was getting frustrated, yes, because you look at earlier in the game, a couple of times he's got behind Barlamumba, but then all of a sudden we stopped doing it.
Yeah.
He gets the ball there, he wins a free kick. Barlamumba now he's on the yellow. So what do? Give him the ball again.
Yeah, put pressure.
Put pressure on him.
Ekwa and Barr over this free kick. Again, we've got a draft excluder.
Draft excluder's down again.
Down again, 4 on the wall. And the draft excluder. Ekwa, is he going to leave this for Barr? But he's taken a couple of...
Going to hit the target, missed the wall.
And it's Ekwa who's with his left over the crossbar. But it's taken a deflection and going over, and so it's a corner kick. The first... I was going to say the first corner, it's not the fourth corner. I was distracted slightly.
Distracted.
Yeah, it's just a technical issue, but not one of our necessary concern. Here's Clark with the corner on the left. It's poor, it dips in low, and Forshaw heads it out for a throw to Sunderland. Hjelde is going to take this back to Clark on this left-hand side, just inside, and now on halfway in the last minute. How much time are we going to get added on? I think we're up to the 45th minute here. We're going to get 1 minute, and we're into that minute now. And the ball is with Ballard. Plymouth Argyle leading 1-0, Liverpool 1, Burnley 1. There's Ballard across to O'Nien. O'Nien wide to Hjelde. Drives this up, looking for Clark, but Ashley Phillips just swings his right foot through it. Giabi heads it on, Ballard heads it away again, and Clark looking for it, won't run for him. Foul by Clark, says the referee, on Giabi. 30 seconds or less left of the minute, and a free kick to Plymouth on the halfway line on the right-hand side. Forshaw just taps it to Mumba. 10 seconds left. Back to Phillips. Phillips back to the goalkeeper, and then driven out by Hazard. Bounces through to the Sunderland penalty area. Back to Patterson from Ballard. He passes it back out to Ballard on the right-hand side. Half-time whistle is blown. A few boos ringing out, but that's a frustrating first half for Sunderland, who couldn't find a way through, got caught napping, and Ryan Hardy penalised them for it.
Well, Nick, I think the big question is, and you know, before the ball was kicked, you know how Plymouth was going to settle. You knew what they were going to try to do, and we knew that it was going to be frustrating for us. We'd have to be patient to break them down, but also be aware that they'll catch you on the counter-attack.
Well, interesting as the players are coming off, I've seen Jack Clark stopped and has had a conversation with the fourth official. Clearly not happy about something, but Clark has been the frustrated player this afternoon. He's not got the ball to him after the promising start when they were getting behind Mumba, and Clark looked to be the outlet, and then they decided to start going down the right-hand side.
Yeah. And unfortunately, it's a man's game, and what I mean by that is that at times we're getting bullied, aren't we?
Yes.
You know, Barr, for instance, it's too easy. Okay, they're young lads, but unfortunately sometimes you have to, shall we say, deal with that physical aspect of the game.
Yes.
And at the present moment, we're a little bit too weak, or soft, shall we say. We're second best.
Well, they're going to find a way through in the second half. They are one behind. It was a break from the halfway line. Hardy was onside when the ball was played out from the penalty area by Galloway. He just sprinted down the middle. Hume got that. Patterson came out, but Hardy, well, all his experience, was able to keep a cool head in the end and clip it over the both of them into the empty net. So half-time, Plymouth Argyle lead. We'll have the second half, of course, live on BBC Radio Newcastle and safc.com. At the break, it's Sunderland 0, Plymouth Argyle 1.
Hi, I'm Kylie Minogue.
I'm Rick Astley.
And I'm James Blunt.
It's time to say thank you to the brave, the courageous, the unsung heroes.
The BBC Make a Difference Awards recognise and appreciate those who love to make life better for others.
I think there's a real magic to what you guys do.
The BBC Make a Difference Awards.
You can find the terms and conditions at bbc.co.uk/make a difference. Nominations are open now and close Sunday the 10th of March at 11 p.m.
It's time to say thank you to the unsung heroes. You're beautiful.
The BBC Make a Difference Awards.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Thank you all for making a difference.
Total Sport North East.
BBC Well, I've got some half-time socials if
Dominic
you're
Jones back
interested
in the
that.
BBC Radio Newcastle studio. Half-time, Sunderland 0, Plymouth 1. Ryan
We are as
Hardy on
predictable as my
39
pat
minutes with a
pipe
goal
after an Indian.
for the visitors. Back to
No,
the
no,
Stadium of Light shortly
thank
for
you.
second half.
As
Commentary with Nick
usual,
Barnes
not good enough in the
and
final
Gary Bennett.
third.
Let's
Got
just run
caught
through
napping
some
at
of
the
the
back
other
for their goal.
scores from around
7 shots
the
and only
country,
one on
beginning with the
target. Once
Premier League
again,
in the early
how
kick-off.
many times have we
Manchester
been saying
City.
this?
They beat
We are
Everton
solid.
2-0
We've
early
just
in
let a
Holland,
silly
both of the
mistake
goals
happen.
there.
That's all
Half-time
it
at Craven
takes
Cottage
to
following
win and lose a
Bournemouth
game.
by 2 goals to 0. Liverpool
Couldn't score on a brothel,
and
but we
Burnley
would
are
each
drawing
concede against
1-1
an
at
under-9s
Anfield.
team.
Luton
Dropping
are
points
2-0
to
down
Plymouth
to
at
Sheffield
home would
United
just about
at
sum up
Kenilworth
this year.
Road.
Big,
Tottenham
very
are losing
decent
at home
teams
as
and we
well.
lose top
Brighton
points
leading
against
1-0
dog
there.
teams.
And the
one
only
more.
other 3 o'clock kick-off in
Plenty
the Premier
possession,
League
but
today
same
is
old
Brentford,
midfield
and
gives
Brentford
nothing.
leading
Drop
us
one,
by a goal
poor-
to 0 late kick-off is
Drop one
Nottingham
poor
Forest
performer
versus
and
Newcastle
in joke,
United. We
but
will
still
preview
you
that
have two
one
others,
very
Neil and
shortly.
Ekwar, whose manager
Total
is.
Sport
That's
North
why
East.
you
On
win
the
and
station
lose
with
games.
Newcastle and Sunderland commentary exclusively live.
BBC
Yeah, I wonder why
Radio
they're-
Newcastle.
Into the Championship then in the early kick-off there. Ipswich and West Brom played out a 2-2 draw. Ipswich, though, with a 93rd minute equaliser there to claim a point. Nathan Broadhead also on the score sheet
You watching?
for Ipswich. Blackburn at half-time lead Stoke by 3 goals to
So
1. Cardiff
Brian's just
losing
said should never have
2-0,
been a goal in the
to
run-up.
Preston.
Ballard
At
hit
home.
his head and the
Swansea
ref was
leading 1-0 away from home there at
to
Hull
stop the
this
game.
afternoon.
Didn't even
Leeds
check on him.
are leading Rotherham by a goal to 0. It's Middlesbrough 0, Bristol City 2 at the Riverside. QPR are leading Norwich by a goal to 0. Jack Colback with the goals for QPR. Huddersfield lead 2-0 away at Southampton, and Watford are losing to Leicester by a goal to 0.
Total Sport North East.
The Newcastle and Sunderland AFC
Anfield will be
podcast
exactly
on
this,
BBC
it'll be
Sounds.
exactly the same, mate.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
35 minutes gone in the
Into
second
League
half.
One, then it's Barnsley 0,
If we
Leighton
do the
Orient
same,
1,
where it's just Sunderland
1,
passing and we're not
Oxford
doing a thing up
United
front,
1,
they'll just stand
Bristol
up there and make
Rovers
a
0,
second.
Burton Albion
That's
1,
it's on the cards.
Cambridge and
It's so
Cheltenham are
scripted, it's unreal.
goalless,
That's
as is
exactly what happens.
Carlisle
We
versus
don't.
Portsmouth Derby.
Give them a nudge,
and
you get one
Shrewsbury
back.
also goalless at half-time. Fleetwood lead Lincoln by a goal to 0 at the break. Northampton 1, Bolton Wanderers 0. Port Vale 1, Stevenage 0. Goalless between Reading and Charlton. Exeter 1-0 up away to Wigan, and Wickham are 1-0 up over Peterborough United.
Total Sport North East.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Into League 2 then, it's AFC Wimbledon 2, Barrow 0. Crewe 0, Crawley Town 0, Doncaster 1, Tranmere Rovers 0, Forest Green Rovers 0, Mansfield Town 1, Grimsby 0, Stockport County 3. It's goals between Harrogate and Colchester. Accrington Stanley lead MK Dons by a goal to 0. Morecambe 1-0 up over Sutton. Goalless between Swindon and Salford at half-time. Newport County lead Walsall by 3 goals to 0. And the only other game in League 2 is Wrexham versus Bradford City, and that one is goalless.
Total Sport North East.
Get the latest team news, score updates and post-match reaction on Twitter at BBC Newcastle.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
The weather has once again decimated the non-league fixtures here in the northeast, but of course BBC Radio Newcastle's Paul Dixon found a game to go to, and it's in the Northern Premier League Premier Division. Craig Park, Morpeth versus Bamber Bridge, and our non-league reporter Paul Dixon can tell us how the first half's gone.
It's been a decent game in the first half, Dom, and the half-time score is Morpeth Town 1, Bamber Bridge 1, and it was an unbelievable start for the home team. As early as 2 minutes, Sam Hodgson played a superb ball out to Vinny Steele, who burst into the box and from an acute angle drilled the ball low into the net. Excellent finish, great move and a great start for the home team. The visitors went close when Harry Scarborough fired just wide from the target. A good chance for Bamber Bridge. And then 2 minutes later, Scarborough again in on goal. The shot was saved by Down Lounson, where he should have really done much better. And then the half hour, Morpeth should have went 2-0 up. Sam Hodgson in on goal, hit it with his wrong foot, and it went wide of the target. And then on 41 minutes, Bamber Bridge drew level. It was a defensive mistake by Ryan Wanwell. His back pass short. In-nipped Danny Edwards to push the ball past Down Lawson in the Morpeth goal to make it 1-1. Tough game here for Morpeth. Got a lot to do in the second half if they're going to get their nose in front. 1-1 at half time, Dom.
Paul, thank you very much. Paul will give us a full-time report later on. Elsewhere, non-league wise, today Gateshead in the FA Trophy 5th round. Goalless away to Hereford as things stand in National League North this afternoon. Blythe's games with Buxton was off, but South Shields are leading 2-0 away to Gloucester City. In the Northern Premier League East Division, only one game for us this afternoon. Ashington away to Grimsby Borough, but they lead by 2-1 there. And the only other non-league game for us really is up in the Scottish Lone League. Berwick Rangers away to Stirling University. They lead by 1-0 though. Our local football roundup this afternoon will be at 6:15.
Matt Bailey at breakfast.
Hollywood actress Jessica Biel has revealed she's been eating stuff in the shower.
Shower-appropriate items like cereal or yogurt, coffee, tea.
Yogurt? A shower-appropriate food? I mean, that is not shower-appropriate for me, Colette.
It's not, and it sounds quite stressful, trying to eat a yogurt while you've got shampoo on your head. It's making me panic, the idea of it.
I wouldn't know which one to put where. I'd find that I'd end up washing my bits with yogurt. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, oh no, that was supposed to be shower gel.
Matt Bailey at breakfast.
Back Monday morning
from 6.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Half-time then at the Stadium of Light. Sunderland 0, Plymouth 1. We'll be back to the Stadium of Light shortly for second half commentary with Nick Barnes and Gary Bennett. Our second commentary game today, though, here on BBC Radio Newcastle comes in the Premier League later this afternoon as Newcastle travel to Nottingham Forest. Kick-off at the City Ground is at 5:30. Matthew Raisbeck and John Anderson with build-up from just after 5, and Razor joins us now. It's another late kick-off for Newcastle, Razor.
Hi, Dom. Yes, it is. At least this one isn't in London, like the FA Cup tie against Fulham. And then in a fortnight, they've got a Saturday night match at Arsenal at 5:30 in Nottingham. Probably one of their closest away grounds in the Premier League this season. Not too many northern teams in the division, certainly outside of the northwest. So, yeah, going to have around 3,000 fans here cheering them on tonight.
Team news at 4:30, but Eddie Howe once again without some key players.
Well, he ruled out both Alexander Isak and Anthony Gordon of this game. Gordon picked up the ankle problem against Luton last weekend, and Isak, it's a groin issue for him, sustained in the win at Aston Villa. So it means Newcastle will be lighter in attacking areas, but they are obviously boosted by the return a week ago of both Callum Wilson and Harvey Barnes as substitutes in the draw with Luton. Now, Eddie Howe suggested yesterday that it's probably too early to expect Harvey Barnes to start games again. He'd been out for 4 months with that toe injury. But with no Isak and no Gordon, who've both played through the middle as centre forwards this season, it may well be that Callum Wilson has to come in and start for Newcastle today. They do still have Miguel Almiron and Jacob Murphy, both available for the wide position. So, yeah, he's got 4 players and he'll probably pick 3 of those to start, you would think, unless he did something else with the team and shuffled the midfield around. But again, there's not many options there. They've only got 3 fit: Miley, Longstaff and Bruno. And the other situation, Dom, that we've been talking about all week on Total Sport, our football phone-in from 6 o'clock every weeknight on BBC Radio Newcastle, is about left-backs and whether Dan Burn, who had a tough time up against Chidozie Ogbene of Luton last week, will start, or whether, as a lot of fans would like, Tino Livramento will come in.
I think that's the position that everyone will be looking at. Razor, thank you very much for now. Team news will be at 4:30. We'll bring you that during the Sunderland match. Build-up begins just after 5 o'clock here on BBC Radio Newcastle. Just a quick mention, the Newcastle women are in action tomorrow. They are away to Burnley in the FA Women's National League. In the Six Nations this afternoon, Scotland lead France 16-15, a really tight game there. England get underway against Wales very shortly at 4:45 this afternoon. Here's the England head coach, Steve Borthwick.
It's exciting, full stop. I think then, it adds another layer being at Twickenham, adds another layer being the Six Nations and the history of this fixture. I think everyone's looking forward to this one. I think you see a young England team with a blend of experienced players helping guide those younger players at the infancy of their international careers. I think last weekend was a promising start. It was far from perfect, but it was promising in a number of areas. And this weekend we're going to be tested in a completely different way, I think.
That is the England head coach Steve Borthwick speaking ahead of England's game with Wales this afternoon at Twickenham, 4:45 kickoff there. And France have converted their try to now lead Scotland 17-16 in the Six Nations in that one. And tomorrow, Ireland against Italy, that one is a 3 o'clock kickoff. In switching codes to Rugby League this afternoon, and in the Challenge Cup, the Newcastle Thunder were away to the Sheffield Eagles, but have lost 88-12 in that match there. A couple of other things to quickly bring you. In basketball, the Newcastle Eagles last night beat the Caledonian Gladiators by 105 points to 93. And in ice hockey this afternoon, the Whitley Warriors are away to the Sheffield Scimitars. Time for us, though, here on BBC Radio Newcastle to head back to the Stadium of Light for second half commentary of Sunderland versus Plymouth in the company of Nick Barnes and Gary Bennett.
Half-time highlights.
Total Sport North East.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
And Morgan Whittaker smashed it up to Hardy, who was on the halfway line when he got the ball. He goes round the keeper. He's now got to try and get past O'Nien, and he tries to dink it over, and he scores. Dinks it over Hume. And from the halfway line,
how can you
in
be
the
caught
39th
like that?
minute, Ryan Hardy breaks. Patterson came out to close him down, so did Hume, but Ryan Hardy's managed to dink it over both, and Plymouth Argyle take the lead.
Total Sport North East.
Nick Barnes and Gary Bennett MBE.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Well, Sunderland out for the second half. Clark and Roberts in conversation as a couple of the substitutes, Jobe and Nation Bishop, come off the pitch after their half-time exercises. Patterson's in conversation with Ballard, Gelder and O'Nien. Neil's coming back for a word with Jack Clark. Ekwa and Barr are having a conversation at the edge of the centre circle. Rusin's on his own, not a conversationalist for obvious reasons.
But it's interesting that, you know, you look at the 3 or 4 of them who's having a conversation, it looks as though they might go 3 at the back. But I might be wrong. You know, you're just thinking that Hume, he's the one who's left out, isn't he?
Yeah.
Of that conversation.
Yeah,
I know it'll be playing on his mind, you know, obviously conceding that goal, you know, the part he played in it. But we talked about this, you know, Plymouth, how they were going to set up, they were going to frustrate. So we had to be patient, we had to be clever. But also what you've got to do, you've got to make sure you switched on at the back. We talked about them counter-attacking. You know, they've got the pace, they've got Whittaker, you know, and we said Hardy, you know, and we said make sure you stay in the game, make sure you're clued in.
Well, the team's got a collective responsibility as well, haven't they, to defend?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
You know, they've all gone up the top end. And,
correct.
You know, it's not just Patterson and Hume.
Yeah.
They were caught cold. I mean, Galloway was sharp, quickly out of the blocks with his pass out through the middle up to Hardy, who then finished off. And you've got to hand it to Ryan Hardy as well. That's experience, you know, confidence.
Composed, wasn't he?
Composed, very.
Yeah.
Plymouth Argyle getting us underway. They're defending the Roker end in the second half, and well, it paid off them defending the north end in the first half, didn't it? They've obviously done their homework. Here's Giabi flicking it out to Devine. He's back here though for Rusin to try and get past Galloway down the right of the penalty area. Takes it inside onto his left, but it clips off Galloway as he tried to cross it and out towards the touchline. And Neil's trying to get it back in. Neil flicking it into Roberts. He's caught at the edge of the area, but Neil pushes it back into the box. He's appealing for something from the referee, Anthony Backhouse. But Plymouth get the ball clear. Plymouth all in green, white socks. Sunderland, of course, in their red and white stripes. So now back to Ekwa in the centre circle. Gelder on the far side with Clark. Will Clark see more of the ball in the second half? He's cut back in. He's trying to shake off Mumba. He finds Gelder ahead of him. It's flicked away on that far side by Forshaw, who gets a second stab at clearing it up to Luke O'Nien on the halfway line. Hardy's on his shoulder. O'Nien just calmly brings it down and sidesteps away from Ryan Hardy. plays it inside to Ballard. Ballard now to Roberts. Roberts on the right, dribbling slowly at Devine, inside to Neil. Back into the centre circle to O'Nien. O'Nien forwards to Hjelde, just ahead of him. Clark's wide on the touchline, kind of cut in from Mumba and Forshaw, but forced to play it back to O'Nien on halfway, and he just rolls it along the halfway line to Ballard, and Ballard to Hume. Hume, who's got Roberts here wide, back to Hume just inside the Sunderland half, back to Ballard, and now O'Nien again, forwards to Equa. Trying to play it down the channel, but away past Clark and behind for a goal kick to Plymouth Argyle. Connor Hazard, the goalkeeper in light blue at the Roker end. Still people drifting back from the concourses.
See what we're talking about, and we touched on it last night on Total Sport, Nick. Plan B.
Yes, which I know Davey, who came on, found that quite hilarious. That that I asked the question, but it does get repeatedly asked: do coaches have Plan B? What is the Plan B here now with a Plymouth Argyle side who've set up with two banks and they've made it life difficult clearly, and they've caught Sunderland on the counter-attack. Rusin back to Ballard on the halfway line. O'Nien, and the ball played through to Barr, comes off him. Hardy's picked it up, leaves it for Whittaker. He's played it across towards Miller, intercepted by Hume, and now with Roberts it comes off. Rusin has gone down, clutching his ankle or tying up his lace. And, Roberts has to win it back again off Whittaker into the penalty area on the right hand side, trying to slip it through under Galloway, but it's put behind for a Sunderland corner. First corner of the second half on the right hand side. Roberts will take this at the Roker end in the 49th minute.
It's got to be a good delivery in.
Plymouth leading 1-0. Keeper stands with his hands above him. Whipped in by Roberts, and from Miller, back out to the touchline. Roberts brings it down, dribbling at Devine, crosses to the far post, punched away by Hazard. Ballard's furious. He hoped to get on the end of that, but his Northern Ireland teammate punched it away from him. Throw to Sunderland on the far side. Clark takes it back to Hume on the left, into the centre circle to Equa. Ballard's back now, and it's just laid off to Hume again, and out to Hjelde on the far side, down the line to Clark, back to Hjelde, and he plays it back to Luke O'Nien, just left of the centre circle into the middle, and now Neil, it goes past him and it's run into the path here of Devine. Devine onto halfway, the 19-year-old on loan from Tottenham, rolls it back to Brendan Galloway. He pushes it forwards to Devine again, QPR 1, Norwich 1, and Galloway falls over as he turns the ball down the left touchline, comes back to Hume, and Hume will play it into the middle of his own half to Luke O'Nien, into the centre circle. O'Nien still going, plays it off to Dan Neil. Neil out wide to Roberts. Roberts cutting in now, finding the run of Hume, crosses, headed out, drops to Roberts, looking for Barr, crashes penalty down, and that's a penalty, is it?
He hasn't given it on the edge of the box, has he?
It looks to me like he's given it right on the edge of the box. Now, has he given the foul on Roberts?
It must have been Roberts. It must have been Roberts.
He's given it for the foul on Roberts and not the one on Barr.
Yeah, on Roberts.
So a free kick, a foot outside the penalty area of the right of the D. The 51st minute. Barr, Clark, Equa and Roberts. But Barr saunters off to join the Plymouth Argyle players who have formed a wall, and again down goes Morgan Whittaker as the draft excluder. I bet he's loving that. Nice wet pitch, rolling, lying on his back, on his side, behind the...
He's gone to sleep, hasn't
he? He's having a nap. 6-man wall. And a lot of pointing going on from Equa and Clark, the referee just behind them. It's Equa!
Yeah.
Oh!
Well done.
Caught! Plymouth napping there He just, a very, very short pass inside to him, and he just whipped it into the bottom right corner.
The draft excluder didn't do its job.
Didn't do its job at all, did it?
Well done.
Pierre Equa sharply snapped that into the bottom right corner. Sunderland 1, Plymouth Argyle 1. That came in the 52nd minute. Can they come from behind now and win the game? That was a neat free kick. Very, very well executed. Beautifully executed by Equa, and it completely caught Plymouth by surprise. And now the ball is whipped out from the kickoff to Ballard eventually, and back to Patterson in his yellow away to our left-hand side. 1-1 then here at the Stadium of Light, and Pierre Equa notches up his 4th goal of the season. And here come Sunderland again on the break on the left side of the penalty area. Rusyn trying to get in here behind, tackled by Lewis Gibson, but the ball breaks for Dan Neal, and Neal now out to Hjelde on the left-hand side, and eventually back to Ballard in the centre circle. Rolled to Hume on the right, back through the centre circle to O'Nien, and the atmosphere builds again now, sensing that they can come behind and get in front here. Clark just plays the ball across straight into the path of Devine. He's given it away though to O'Nien, and now out on the left of midfield, Dan Neal goes around one challenge from Forshaw, slips it inside from Mumba to Clark. Clark trying to take on Phillips, it bounces back off him and comes down. A call for handball by the Plymouth defenders. It's not given by the referee, and Plymouth having to defend again, because here comes Dan Neal looking for Clark, trying to slip it through, but it's not behind for a corner.
A lot better by Sunderland, you know, keeping the ball, keeping the pressure on.
Liverpool 2, Burnley 1. Don't forget 5:30 we've got Nottingham Forest against Newcastle. We'll bring you tea news around 4:30. It's Sunderland 1, Plymouth Argyle 1. Corner on the left at the Roker end. Clark's going to take this, and looks like it's going to be an in-swinger. In it comes. Not a great corner, easily cleared by Plymouth. It'll come back though with Clark trying to get in on the left. Mumba tries to get the ball away. It's swung in by Roberts, headed away by Galloway. O'Nien plays it back to Hume in the centre circle. Southampton 1, Huddersfield 2. Sunderland, of course, at Huddersfield on Wednesday night. We'll have full commentary on BBC Radio Newcastle. Barr on the left wide, he's got Roberts just inside of him. Roberts now, he's got Hjelde behind him, and he goes inside to Equa. A stretch for Neal, whipped off him by Forshaw, and played on to Devine, Alfie Devine, back to Galloway, down the left wing. Mikael Miller trying to cut in from Equa, looking for Devine again, comes back into his own half, and then swings the ball across to the right wing to Barley Mumba. Mumba closed down, but he gets the ball inside to Whittaker, and
you've got to get back, you've got to get to him.
Still going, and he's trying to play it into the middle and across to the left to Miller. Roberts comes chasing back down the left of the penalty area, gets on the shoulder of Miller, who pulls it back here now to Forshaw, and Forshaw swings the ball in.
Offside.
Little flick, and the flag's up on the far side. It won't count. Little flick of the head, I think it was Whittaker.
Yeah,
but the flag was up.
He got it right that time, Lionel.
I think, in fairness, he got it right the first time.
Huh?
I think he got it right the first time. I think
the first time when
they scored?
Not when he scored. The time before that.
Before then.
Yes,
before then. The ball headed away. I think the Southampton 2, Huddersfield 2, and a throw to Sunderland on the right wing. Fulham 2, Bournemouth 1. Here's Hume to take this throw for Sunderland in the Plymouth half. Drops to Equa, back to Hume, back again to Ballard, into the middle in the centre circle to O'Nien. to Neil, and Luton 1, Sheffield United 2. Mumba gets ahead of Clark, who puts a hand on Mumba's back. Mumba goes down, free kick to Plymouth. 57th minute.
Yeah, Forshaw's gone down, has he?
Forshaw's sitting in the middle of his half, yes, Forshaw's down. So ball back on the pitch with the goalkeeper over on that far side. Forshaw's going to get some treatment. Sunderland 1, Plymouth Argyle 1. Referee's having a strong word with Jack Clark about something. He's standing, arguing still with Anthony Backhouse. He's not letting it go, Jack Clark. The referee's trying to sort of push him away. Clark persists, and now he's having an argument with, having a chat with Brendan Galloway, trying to make his point. I'm not quite sure what Brendan Galloway's supposed to do. Leeds 2, Rotherham 0. Forshaw still getting treatment. The substitution being made by Plymouth.
Adam Randall, is it?
It could be right. It is. Plymouth born. Played in the week against Leeds. 23-year-old. And Forshaw's back on his feet. Plymouth waiting to make this substitution, and it will be, I think it is Forshaw's coming off. He looked a bit surprised, actually. Fulham 3, Bournemouth 1, but hold on. Forshaw's off the pitch. He's been called down by Ian Foster, who's having a word with him. Randall's not come on. They're waiting for this free kick to be taken. Forshaw,
he wants to go back on.
He wants to go back on. Randall's putting his jacket back on.
He's going on.
And Forshaw's going to come back on, isn't he? Forshaw comes back on. So that substitution, no, he's coming back off because the fourth official won't let him go on from where he came on. And now the assistant referee's in his way. Forshaw's got the fourth official holding him back. Hume has got the ball for Sunderland. Hume whips the ball across to Clark. Clark looks at bouncing to the corner of the penalty area. Mumba gets in front of him but slips over. Clark has got the ball. He's taking on Mumba down the left of the penalty area. And now he cuts across the back and shoots. Oh!
What a goal!
What a goal from Jack Clark!
What a goal!
It's 2-1. Swept in with his right foot, in off the post, and Sunderland now lead 2-1.
And the Plymouth manager is raging. He's raging because he wanted to get Forshaw on, but you can't take it away. What a great finish by Jack Clark. And you can see what he wants to do, but you just can't stop him.
So, Jack Clark's 14th goal of the season. Doesn't score many at home, but he won't score many better than that. That coming on the hour
mark. And he loved
mark.
that one because he was getting frustrated, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
But what a great finish. Excellent.
So, Sunderland from being 1 down, now 2-1 up. And Jack Clark, as you say, I mean, he had that great long conversation with the referee and Brendan Galloway while Forshaw was getting treatment on the pitch. Forshaw was getting frustrated trying to get back on.
Yeah.
Ian Foster was frustrated as a consequence of that. Meanwhile, Jack Clark lost Mumba, curled one in from the edge of the penalty area.
You know, and again, sometimes you look back and you think, and sometimes you can blame the player sometimes when he's gone down.
Well, coming again, Clark on this left-hand side. Giabi's in front of him this time, but he's slipped it in looking for Rusin, and it's hooked away by Lewis Gibson. And Hume nods it down to Hjelde. Watford 1, Leicester 2.
2-0.
2-0, sorry. Was it? 2-0, was it? Well, Leicester 2. Leicester just rolling on, aren't they? Here's Hjelde on the left. Looking in for Rusin, but he couldn't quite get off the shoulder of Phillips. Or Galloway, and it's come back out to Devine here on the right-hand side. It's got Hume on his case. Devine finally gets the ball away. It's picked up by Dan Neil. Neil now driving one, but wide. It's going to be a goal kick. So Sunderland in the lead, 62nd minute.
You know, we said about getting Clark into the game. You've got to give him the ball.
Yeah, and speed things up, didn't they? They sped things up. I mean, that was the good example of that was the free kick, wasn't it? They just didn't give Plymouth any time to sort themselves, just whipped it in. Sunderland 2, Plymouth Argyle 1. Devine trying to head it on over the head of Whittaker. Neil gets a foot in, and now it breaks for Giarbi. He's trying to get away from Ekwa through the middle for Plymouth Argyle, laying it off to Whittaker. A lunge at him by Hume, but he's got through down the left edge of the penalty area, but finally shuffled out by Luke O'Nien. And here's a throw from Miller back to Forshaw, and then eventually
he'll be coming off. Forshaw's coming off. I'm sure they'll substitute him.
Are you?
Because he's not 100%.
No, he's not.
You know,
you can see him there.
And then you might look back and thinking he might have cost them the goal.
Do you know if he not dragged it out and Randall had come on, it could have been a different story, couldn't it? But look, ifs and buts.
I'm telling you now, he's going to come off.
Here's Hjelde on the far side. We've got a free Seafret still floating over the pitch. Neil bringing it forward. So you're trying to wave it away, or was that a fly? Down that left-hand side, here comes Barr. He's dribbling towards the corner of the penalty area. Giarbi in front of him. He's trying to shake him off. Barr has to come back out and lay it inside to Dan Neil. Neil back to Barr on the left and back again to Hjelde. And Hjelde back to Luke O'Nien, who squares it to his right to Hume. Hume back to O'Nien in the centre circle. BBC Radio Newcastle. It's Sunderland 2, Plymouth Argyle 1. Now a nice ball through from Hjelde to Neil in the penalty area, pulling it back from the goal line, looking for Rusyn over his head. Drops for Hume, now inside to Roberts. Roberts closed down by Forshaw. Roberts slips it through to Barr, back to Roberts. Back again though into the path of Miller. And out here on the left to Devine. They tried to pass it through, foul on Forshaw. And a double substitution for Sunderland's Job and Rigg are going to come on.
For Ekwa.
I wonder if it would be
Rusyn? Oh, Barr
would be my guess. So Sunderland lead 2-1. Randall's coming on for Forshaw now as well.
Yeah, well, that should have been done 10 minutes ago.
Your numbers up, Forshaw. So Barr's coming off for Job. I think he's done all right today.
Ekwa.
And Ekwa coming off then for Rigg. Goal from Ekwa. Randall's on for Forshaw. And Rigg and Job on. We're in the 65th minute. Leeds 3, Rotherham 0. The ball at the feet of Gibson for a free kick. Taps it to Galloway. Drives up, looking for Hardy, headed away by Ballard. Out to Hume. Inside to Dan Neil. Neil to Job. Gets his first touch of the game. Takes it up onto the halfway line. And trying to wheel away from Darko Giarbi. Gets it back to O'Nien, forwards to Neil. Neil to Job. Good pass from Neil. Opens things up. Clark's ahead of him on the left and he's trying to get it through the middle to Rusyn. Rusyn back here to Hume. He makes a run into the box. Rusyn, he's eyed that ball forwards from Hume. Brought the ball down, takes it out to the right. Just plays it a little bit behind Roberts, but Roberts will get to it. Keeps it in, plays it back to Hume. Inside to Neil. And Neil across to Hjelde. And he's driven it through to the edge of the penalty area, looking for Clark, backing against the defender, but defender wins that one and gets it to Giarbi, and out now on the right hand side to Whittaker on the shoulder of Neil, who tackles him, comes away with the ball, turns away, works a little bit of
Well
space,
done,
plays
Neil.
it forwards to Job. Job now with a run to the corner of the penalty area, still going. Job onto his right, 3-1. Job has only been on 2 minutes and he's scored.
What a goal! Excellent.
Made a run through, right-footed, far corner. Lovely finish from Job.
Great finish. And that's what happens when you have a little bit of a rest.
Yeah.
Fantastic goal.
That's what the coach will say.
Yeah. And again, Michael Beale will be smiling.
Yeah, he
Good
will.
substitution.
So, in the space of 6 minutes, we've had 2 goals. Sunderland lead 3-1.
Excellent finish by Joe Bellingham.
So, now managing the game, seeing it out. 1-0 down, back to 3-1. Job gets his 5th of the season. So, still plenty of time to add a couple more. Rusin's looked busy this afternoon. Will he get a third?
Rusin's been excellent.
He's been very good, hasn't he?
Yeah,
Runs
he's
into
busy.
space.
You know, he's created havoc, hasn't he? Really.
We can make another change. Sunderland, I think it's Pembele's. No, it's not Pembele. It's Romain Mundle we're going to see.
He'll come on for Roberts.
Yes. So we're going to get 20 minutes or so of Mundle.
Mundle.
Yes.
Mundle.
There's all sorts of fun we can have with that name. Spurs won, Brighton won. And here Plymouth trying to get forward, but Clark's got his hackles up now, and he makes the break and is fouled by Giarbi, and it's a yellow card for the Plymouth man. Carlisle 0, Portsmouth 1.
Oh, referee,
Oh, no.
referee, come on.
Watford 1, Leicester 2. I missed that bit. Roberts coming off.
Yeah.
Applause for Roberts as he comes off. Good. Was that? No, that wasn't Clark. Yellow card, was it?
No.
No.
I think Yelder will come off next.
Do you think so?
Yeah, I think he's stretching. I think he's feeling a little bit of, shall we say, cramp.
Come on, lads and lasses, hit that like button if you're happy with this scoreline so far.
So, Mundle is on. And I wonder, we might see Pembele come on and Hume go to left back, mightn't we?
Yeah. I think Yelder's struggling a little bit.
Here's Hume. Mundle's out wide on the right here, gets his first touch. Can he have the same impact that Job had after he came on, minutes after he come on, scoring 3-1 Sunderland lead? So Hjelde down the line to Clark, ushered out by Phillips. The throw to Sunderland. Plymouth now, you know, their game plan has to change, doesn't it?
Yeah, they look tired. They do, don't they?
I do, and I wonder if the week's finally catching up with them. You know, you just do wonder about that. I know they made changes. They made 4 changes at the start, but you know, they sat in the first half, made life difficult. Got that breakaway goal. Here's Pallard out to Neil through the middle. Neil taking this on through the mist. Giarbi backing off him. Plays it, slips it through to Clark. Yeah, who's enjoying himself now, taking on Phillips. Comes off a defender, deflected and put behind by Miller. It's a corner to Sunderland.
Getting more and more space now. Sunderland are going to make a double substitution. Plymouth,
yeah.
Like we said, they look tired.
Sunderland up to 6th in the table at the moment. And Riggs coming down to take this corner on the right-hand side. Looking to bring on
Sousa.
Nina Sousa. Lino Sousa. The ball put behind. It's another corner from Riggs first. Lino Sousa's on loan from Aston Villa. And the other change, his numbers all curled up on his...
Soranello.
Matthew Soranello.
Yeah.
The ball whipped in and whipped out again by Plymouth from that corner. And back up to Hjelde on the halfway line. Southampton 2, Huddersfield 3 now, as Hjelde takes this on, swings it out towards the right side of the penalty area, looking for Mundell, trying to get a foot on it, puts it behind for a goal kick. So Sorinola will come on for Mumba.
Sorry.
And Sousa comes on for Miller.
2 wing backs off.
Yeah, so they're just straight swaps. In the 72nd minute, going into the 73rd minute, it's going to be a goal kick to Plymouth. Off comes a very angry Mumba. He's just thrown something to the floor as it came off on the pitch. Hume goes to pick it up, retrieves it, and just throws it off the pitch. Not happy at all, is he, Ali Mumba? Not happy at all. So 73rd minute, Sunderland 3, Plymouth Argyle 1. Get team news from the City ground. There's a throw to Sunderland on the right while we wait for Ballard to retrieve the ball. Matthew Raisbeck. He's not there yet. That's slack, isn't it?
He's not where? Nottingham yet.
Well, he's there, but you know, an hour from kickoff, you can give the team. We are exactly an hour from kickoff. He's not there.
He's having a cuppa,
there you
man.
Go.
He's having a cuppa.
So now here's Joe back to 09. I think Razor's had his chance. Now back to Hume on the right-hand side, in front of Michael Beale, inside to Neil. Closed down by Giarbi, back to 09, out to Hjelde on the left-hand side.
He's getting loads of space now, Clark, isn't he?
Yeah, Clark's opened up for him on that left-hand side, taking on Phillips again into the edge of the penalty area. But Sorinola gets across the front of him, goes down, free kick to Plymouth. Now Razor is there. Let's get team news from the City ground.
I've been here, Barnsley, just observing the team news embargo. One change for Newcastle, but a surprise because Anthony Gordon, having effectively been ruled out yesterday by Eddie Howe, starts. Wilson for Murphy, and Byrne plays at left back.
Thanks, Razor. 5:30 kick-off. Full commentary with Razor and Ando from Nottingham Forest. We've got just over a quarter of an hour left to play. Sunderland lead 3-1. Here's Galloway pushing it out to Sousa on this left-hand side. Another youngster, 19-year-old, England under-19, born in Lisbon actually, but plays for England's under-19s. Sousa.
Okay.
He was on loan from Aston Villa. He was at Arsenal until, well, only a few weeks ago. Moved to Aston Villa, straight out on loan to Plymouth Argyle. Here's Brendan Galloway back into the middle to Lewis Gibson. 75th minute. Over on the far side, Ashley Phillips, and out it goes. Throw to Sunderland.
Well, you're looking at a team who, yeah, you know, fatigue is playing its part, but well organised in the first 45 minutes. But I think they're
very open
now.
Yeah. Here's Mundell, Remain Mundell on the right, central midfield. Out to Hume on the right wing. Slips it back inside to Dan Neil. Little tap back to Ballard into O'Nien. And now back it comes to O'Nien again, out wide to Clark, inside to Neil, looking for the run of Rusin, cut out by Gibson, looking for Hardy on the halfway line, but Ballard cuts in front, offside against Rusin, and Galloway out to Giarbi, and out again wide on the left-hand side to Sousa, trying to find Divine, overhits it. See the frustration etched on Lino Sousa's face. Throw to Sunderland on the right, Hume will take. Halfway inside the Sunderland half. Now with, well, Randall trying to get it down the left for Divine, battles with Neil, and it's out for a goal kick down in the corner. And coming on, Dan Scar, is it? Or no, it's Julio Pleguezelo, the Spaniard, signed from FC 20 in the summer. So centre back, are they going to go 4 at the back? They're making 2 changes actually. Ben Waine, who's a striker, is going to come on as well. So Ben Waine from New Zealand, Julio Pleguezuelo from Spain will be all Plymouth's substitutions this afternoon, as Sunderland trying to come forward down this right side. The ball played up. Well, clear foul on Rigg as he's hauled to the floor, and a free kick on the right. The first change being made, coming off is Phillips. He'll be replaced by Pleguezuelo, and Devine will be replaced by Ben Waine. 77th minute, freshening things up. Luton 1, Sheffield United 3. On comes the Spaniard. Ben Waine is on as well, having a quick conversation with Morgan Whittaker. 7 times international for New Zealand, scored once. Here's Mundle from the right, back to Ballard. Ballard closed down by Hardy, who gave Plymouth the lead in the 39th minute, but 3 second-half goals have seen Sunderland now well and truly in the driving seat. Clark, under pressure on the far side, is finally fouled by Sorinola. Clark takes the free kick, swings it over towards Mundle, can't keep it in, stretches out in front of Foster, but the ball out for a throw to Plymouth. Queen's Park Rangers 2, Norwich 2. Galloway will take the throw in his own half. And it's Wolves 0, Brentford 2. Rigg gets above Randall, heads it on, and it falls into the path of Neil here. Neil still going, Galloway tucks it away from him by sliding in.
Good tackle.
And out from Whittaker to Sorinola on the right side. And the right back, wing back, swings it right up to Patterson, the edge of his penalty area.
I think looking at Plymouth, they just want this game over and done with, don't they?
Yeah. I don't know how they're travelling home, but if they're going by coach, it's going to feel like a long way, isn't it?
The flew here.
Here's Hume slipping it through. Mundle's through on this, but he's offside. Flag up. Free kick to Plymouth. Connor Hazard. Well, he's going to take the free kick inside his penalty area, and the free kick in the actual offside was a good 20 yards further forwards. Hazard. Mundle goes to close him down, he's outside his area, kicks it up to the halfway line, over the head of Waine. O'Neill nods it down to Hume, drops here for Gibson, he gives it to Randall. And 79th minute, that's the applause for John Snaith, who sadly died. He was the landlord of the Colliery Tavern, died just over a week ago, and all our thoughts with Teresa, his wife and his family, and the crowd duly responds. Thoughts with the family.
Yeah. Followed him home and away, didn't he?
He went to Plymouth this season. Yeah. Unbelievable. Travelled all the way down to Plymouth, John, and he was, again, we come back to Sunderland till I die. Epitome of that phrase, John Snaith. Here's O'Neill, plays it back from Waine to the edge of the area. Patterson, well, Ballard covered him, Ballard trying to clear it, it's crashed down, he's going to have to come back in here and knock it out into touch. A little bit of miscommunication between Patterson and Ballard, but this time they recovered. Hardy didn't have the legs.
At least somebody took responsibility,
yeah.
Nick. Yours, mine, yours.
Yeah, Ryan Hardy, I just think he just didn't have the energy, did he, to pursue it. Here's Randall. Pulls back and then plays it back to Gibson on the halfway line in the 81st minute. Played out by Sousa to Galloway and again by Pleguezuelo.
Bit of fatigue, but Sunderland are closing down, aren't they? You know, they're quicker in the faces.
They're making Plymouth make mistakes.
Correct.
I think it's 40,269 the attendance. (3-1) Sunderland lead, live on BBC Radio Newcastle Here's Randall, back to Giarbi. Back again to Gibson. Swinging it wide left, looking for Sousa, headed by Hume inside to Neil, who's trying to find Mundle. Wrestling with Galloway. Liverpool 3, Burnley 1. Mundle comes away with the ball. And then he's gone down, but Russin, 41,269. The attendance. So now with Clark on halfway, cutting across the halfway line. Wayne on his shoulder, finds Hume on this right-hand side, 82nd minute. He's taking this on down the right. Closed down, stepped inside, slipped it to Mundle, trying to get back on it down the right here. Hume gets a nudge in the back, but goes down, no foul. Hooked away on the left. Ball goes out. Throw to Sunderland. Randall strolls back half-heartedly for Plymouth. O'Nien smashes the ball down to Mundle. Randall's finally decided to go and get the ball and flick it to Hume to take the throw on the right. Finds Rigg. Chris Rigg cutting inside, cutting into the middle, laying it off now to Job. Job, who had an immediate impact when he came on. And here is Job. Back it goes to Hjelde. And it's played back to O'Nien. Hjelde, and he survives an attempt to tackle him by Giarbi. Job brings the ball away, gets away from Giarbi. He's going to shoot from a long way out, straight at the goalkeeper, going down, well done. Getting his body behind it.
Yeah, positive.
Oh no, Clark nearly got it back on the far side, but it's eventually back with the keeper, and he clears up to the halfway line. Hjelde gets it forwards now to Neil, leaves it for Clark. Clark and Meacham had players on his back. In goes Job, gets the ball from Randall. No, the referee's pulled play back for an initial foul.
What are you doing? He must be going to boot Clark.
He's pulled it back for the Clark foul. And Clark stands with his hands on his hips in front of the referee and the ball. And the referee, is he going to book him? No.
No.
I guess he can't be bothered with the back chat. 84th minute, 3-1 to Sunderland. Well, still a lot of people left in the stadium, but it's quiet, isn't it? Just a hum around the bowl of the Stadium of Light. Sunderland 3-1 up, in full control of this game in the 85th minute. Here's Galloway, wide to Sousa, tries to get it up to Wayne. A lot of shirt tugging going on between him and Ballard. Eventually Rigg comes and puts his foot through it. Ballard takes it away along the halfway line, slips it to Job. Job back to Hjelde, and Hjelde to Clark, who casually plays it back to Hjelde, and then out wide to Hume on halfway. Inside, runs past Russin, comes to Garby, and he will just try and drive it through the middle for Hardy. Comes from him to Sorinola, slips it back into Whittaker, trying to find Hardy, straight to O'Nien, passes it out to Job. And Job now, as Sunderland look to break again, out to Clark on the far side. Clark going to take on Pleguerzela. He's trying to find Job. He might have overhit the pass, and it rolls out at the corner for a goal kick to Plymouth.
But he's got that new bit of energy, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, I know he's come on as a sub.
But it just looks like fresh legs and
energised, doesn't he?
So the ball out on the right side of the penalty area. Back to the keeper, playing it out to the left here now to Galloway. He goes crashing into Mundle. Or Mundle goes crashing into him. It's a free kick to Plymouth. Wayne has to go all the way up the other end. Patterson just leaves the ball, lets him roll past and gets Wayne to go and collect it and kick it back upfield. So 86th minute, nearly 87th minute. It's Southampton 3, Huddersfield 3, which sort of suggests that Sunderland are going to get a bit of a game on Wednesday night at Huddersfield. Connor Hazard then to take the... Sheesh down below us, yeah. Ballard nods it down. Here's Rigg through to Neil, through the middle, still going Neil, he's hacked down by Sorinola. It's a yellow card for the Plymouth man.
Great drive by Dan Neil, excellent play. You know, the second half he's just come to life.
Yeah,
on
he
him,
has.
Dan Neil.
Some lovely passing.
Yeah, it really has.
So this free kick right in the middle of the Plymouth half. Ashish is going to get a few moments for Sunderland.
He'll come on for Rusin, won't he?
I think so.
Yeah. Let Rusin get
the applause. Ashish's socks rolled down. Ball sort of under the arm of Dan Neil at the moment. Riggs jogged back for a word with Michael Beale. Ashish to the edge of the pitch, waiting to come on. Beale having this, well, it's not a conversation really, it's a monologue at Chris Rigg. And the substitution will be made now, and you're right, Rusin's the player coming off.
He's put a shift in.
He has, and he's been a little bit unlucky not to have got something at the end of it, but he'll be delighted. And high fives Michael Beale. Ashish comes on in the 88th minute. Sunderland lead 3-1. Good second half.
Yeah. Job's gone to play up top now.
I wonder if he can get a brace in the game. Job. 2 minutes left of the 90. Here's Hume on the right. Back to Ashish. Back to Hume again. Ashish behind him. And he's just slipped it back inside to Mundle. Mundle trying to shake off Galloway. Comes back towards the halfway line. Plays it back to O'Nien in the middle. Across to Hjelde. And forwards down the left wing to Clark. And back to Hjelde. Back again to Luke O'Nien. And to Anthony Patterson in his yellow at the north end of the stadium. He kicks up through the middle, looking for the run of Mundle. He got ahead to it, drops for, well, bounces in front of Job, who hooks it on again. Galloway heads it away from Romain Mundle, and Randall trying to get the ball up for Hardy to chase, but Ballard will get in front of him and plays it out. Throw to Plymouth.
Bit of poetry there, Mundle out by Randall.
Something about the name Mundle invites you to want to sort of rhyme it with something, doesn't it?
Does indeed.
A little bit of alliteration somewhere along the line. Sousa with the throw for Plymouth Argyle. Looks for Giabi down to the corner. Is squeezed there by Job and Hume. Referee looks back at the assistant. Doesn't want to make a decision.
Hold on.
Clearly just
his assistant is on the halfway line.
And he's not going to make a decision. And in the end, everybody walks away. And Randall's coming down to take a corner. Is he given a corner or a throw? He's given a
corner.
Corner, hasn't he, to Plymouth? I think it's their first corner, isn't it, Plymouth? Randall to take this. Adam Randall. A sea of indecision from the officials.
Help.
Randall then from the left with this corner kick. Trailing 3-1, headed across the 6-yard box. A chase for Pleguezuelo. 6 minutes, and Plymouth get another corner. Comes off the back of someone. That's now Southampton 4, Huddersfield 3. Some game down there on the south coast, yeah. Corner then from the right this time for Plymouth. Left one man back, Sousa in midfield. And this corner will be an in-swinger to the near post. Ashish gets in front of Rigg. Happy just to launch it upfield. And where Sousa tries to win it from Mundle, who's on the floor, picks himself up quickly. It's a throw to Sunderland on the far side. We've played nearly a minute at the 6. Helder in the mist to take this throw inside the Sunderland half. It's a cold snap in the air now as the sea fret floats around the stadium, which is slowly emptying. The points are in the bag, he says confidently, Aushish waiting for the ball to be played forwards by Hume, but it comes back inside to Mundell,
it's
cut
a bad
out
pass,
by
bad
Galloway.
pass.
Galloway now on a break to the edge of the area, looking for Hardy. Poor touch from him, takes it straight to Patterson. Cold snap in the air. That's a tired Ryan Hardy, who played the full 90 in extra time in the week against Leeds. Out to Rigg, can't keep it in on the far side, throw to Plymouth Argyle. Nearly 2 minutes of the 6 played. Halfway inside the Sunderland half, drops to 19-year-old Darko Giabe, back to Lewis Gibson. On halfway, in the middle for Plymouth, lays it off to Brendan Galloway. Down the left, it's cut out by Hume, but comes back to Galloway, slips it inside to Randall, out to Sousa on the left, and in goes Luke O'Neill, or Hume goes trashing in, well, makes a challenge.
Great recovery.
Throw to Plymouth on the left, and it'll be taken by Lino Sousa. Tries to find Randall, he flicks it back here to Gibson, back again into the centre circle to Pleguezuelo, who's nearly caught by Clark, but the Spaniard then swings it out to the left, looking for Sousa, headed away out by a throw to Plymouth by Hume. Sousa will take the throw again. He's going to go back down to Gibson in front of Michael Beale. He plays it into the middle. Pleguezuelo, and he will just swing it right through the centre, looking for the run of Ben Waine, but it'll come to Patterson, who catches it, comes tumbling to the floor, quickly up to his feet, and just jogs across the penalty area. 3 minutes left. Sunderland leading 3-1. Middlesbrough 1, Bristol City 2. Is the kick from Patterson, up through to Job, spins away off him and headed on by Aushish, and it will be left. Oh, Clark's going to nip in, is he, between the two defenders, and in the end they battle for it, and Garby gets it back and slips it here to Randall. He lays it off on the left to Galloway. Galloway up to the halfway line, striding down the left here, goes easily round Hume, and away on the left, tries to cross, cut out by Dan Neal in the penalty area.
Well done, Dan
and
Neal.
he turns and comes away with it and just passes it now to Clark. Clark just puts his foot on it and then passes it back to Gelder, and we've got 2 minutes just over left of the 6. Hume to Aushish, back to Hume, inside to Job, away from Gibson, back to Ballard, across to Luke O'Neill. O'Neill out to Gelder. Gelder down the line, looking for Clark. Clark battling with Sorinolo over on that far side, eventually wins a free kick. Back inside the Sunderland half, and Clark takes it, just taps it back to Luke O'Neill, looking here for Job. Gibson heads it forwards over Job, who leaps up over Pleguezuelo and wins the free kick.
Yeah.
Spaniard penalised, he helps Job up to his feet. 1 minute and 15 seconds left. Is there a fourth still here in the game for Sunderland, who were 1-0 down at half-time, but have turned it round with goals from Ekwa, Clark and Job in the second half?
Yeah, and you've got to give credit to Michael Beale, whatever he said at half-time.
Whatever he did, yeah.
You know, the substitutions were better tempo to the game, closed them down and got the rewards.
Free kick taken by Clark to Ballard, out to Hume. Hume looking for Aushish down the right, but Galloway gets in front of him, is pulled down by Aushish. Free kick to Plymouth. 35 seconds left. Across comes Connor Hazard, the goalkeeper, to take the kick for Plymouth. Harrogate 1, Colchester 0.
You've got to say the bookies are never far wrong, are they?
Well, I think that's what Chris Jones, the bookie, said last night, didn't he, pretty much? He said the bookies aren't often wrong. They're, in the majority of cases, they're right. What was your 0-0? Swansea. Free kick to Sunderland. Joe, is it Dan or Rigg?
No, it's 09.
09, is it? Southampton 5, Huddersfield 3. So what a turnaround on the south coast.
Yeah, they've scored 5 goals in the second half.
5 goals in the second half, and Huddersfield, well, they'll be stung by that when Sunderland go there on Wednesday night we'll have full commentary, of course, on BBC Radio Newcastle. That's it, I think. No, the whistle will be blown now, and Sunderland wrap up the game. 3 goals, 3 points, and as you said, credit to Michael Beale for turning things round at half-time.
Yeah, definitely so. And you know, the players took on board the message which he wanted to get out there, and you've got to say it was in the second half a comfortable win. But you know, at half-time you've got to say Plymouth looked a different team, didn't they? Because the first 45 minutes they looked bright. They were causing us 1 or 2 problems. You know, they were getting up and down. Again, you know, Jack Clark, we didn't get the ball out to him enough, which he complained about. But in the second half, it was a different ball game.
They had a game plan in the first half. They stuck to it, Plymouth. It worked for them. They got that break. Hardy showed composure when he broke from halfway to give Argyle the lead in the 39th minute. But 3 goals in the second. Pierre Ekwa, the presence of mind to take the free kick really quickly, just whipped it. It's like a snapshot from 18, 19 yards into the bottom right corner. Jack Clark cut back in from the left after he'd lost Mumba. 18 yards out, just over, with his right foot, curled it in off the right post. And then Jobe, he'd only been on 2 minutes, 18 yards out, left side, and from the right-hand side of the goal, made it 3-1. Lovely shot beyond Connor Hazard. And we've seen Mundle, we saw him introduced, and we saw another good performance from Nazari Rusin.
Yeah, Rusin, I thought he worked very, very hard. He kept the, shall we say, the 2 centre-backs or 3 centre-backs occupied, and he gave us a different, shall we say, direction, an outlet, shall we say. Jack Clark, we know what he can do, and we've been saying that all season. Defenders, managers know what he can do, but he can't stop him.
And yet, how frustrated he looked.
He was frustrated.
And ironically, you know, just before he scored, he'd had a right rant at the referee.
He had a right rant, and also he was, like, as he's mentioned, frustrated because he wasn't getting up for the ball. He wanted the ball. He fancied himself. He was confident enough, and he got his reward with the goal.
Long way home for Plymouth tonight. They must have felt they were going to do another smash and grab when they went 1-0 up at half-time, but it wasn't to be. Sunderland rang the changes, and having rung the changes at the start of the game as well, dropping Jobe to the bench, but he looked refreshed for it. Looked to be a good move from Michael Beale.
Yeah, definitely so, and he'll be over the moon with that. But what he will say to them players, great result, but we've got another huge game on Wednesday.
Chris Rigg came on second half. We could see a few more changes in the second half, freshen things up at Huddersfield on Wednesday night. 41,269 at the Stadium of Light this afternoon. Under that sea fret, it's ended here. Sunderland 3, Plymouth Argyle 1.
Total Sport North East.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Dominic James back in the BBC Radio Newcastle studio.
Cheers, guys, for that. Well done. Cheers, guys, for that. And I'm now ending the stream. Thank you very, very much for that indeed. And we will see you for the next match when we play against Huddersfield Town on Wednesday. So join me for uninterrupted commentary if you like. God bless, and keep an eye on my channel.